Oh, damn. Don't play that shit on Halloween because them
Oh
little
my
kids will be
gosh.
running to their mamas and shit, like peeking behind their leg, like, are they crazy? You
I
know?
know, I know. I had to go by. I actually went by the farmers market that morning,
Yeah.
and because I was picking stuff up for the party, and I was already, and a friend of mine was there playing guitar, and so I had said like, he's like, come by. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be in Pennywise makeup, and so I pulled up next to where he was. Like, he never missed a beat. He just looked up, waved, and everybody at the farmers market, these little kids are like, staring at me like, who is it? Oh my god! And I was
Right.
disappointed. I couldn't mess
They're
him
like
up, but
they're like grabbing the pants of their parents and shit real tight. They're like just
yeah,
they're doing that shit like a little, like they think you can't see them because all they can do is like barely look past, so they think that they
yeah,
can't see the rest of their head kind of shit. Yeah, that's some funny shit.
yeah. I'm like, but could I really go shop for tomatoes and cucumbers at the market dressed as Pennywise? I'm thinking no. So I'm thinking I'd be bad for business.
Probably. But
So,
you know what? If you do, you need to have somebody available to record that shit because I think that would
yeah.
be amazing. I think it'd be amazing. Who knows, man? People come in there for some crazy ass shit these days anymore. People, I don't know, man. That it could be a touchy situation though too, because going
Yeah.
to the grocery store for some tomatoes and people are like, "Oh shit, is this the Batman movie?" Kind of shit.
Oh
But
yeah. Yeah. Well, back in the day, like many years ago, I used to have a mime team. And we used to go a lot of different places, and you can't do your makeup in the car. It's virtually impossible. So when we would have to go and be there at a certain time, like we'd just have to put the makeup on, and then if you have to stop and get a Coke, if you do have to stop at the store, at the gas station, whatever, there you are, as mimes. And for some reason people expect you to perform. So we did. you know
it was awesome. It was awesome. Are you having now? Do you like do your yard for Halloween? Do you do the trick or treater thing? Like,
Nobody trick or
no?
treats here. uh
Oh, okay.
we all
Rural.
do yeah, well, yeah, we all do trunk or treat. There are a few of the neighborhoods that will, not a whole lot, but I'm just outside a neighborhood, and
Yeah.
most of everybody does the trunk or treat because it's
Yeah.
safe. And
Yeah.
as for decorating, I love to decorate, but I have not decorated for Halloween since I moved in this house, because I'll just be honest with you, I've got enough issues. I'm afraid if I put that stuff out there, it's going to draw more of the weirdness that I've already got. So I'm like, I don't know. We're talking about it this year, maybe.
Coffee and tea. Not everybody's. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure what the. I'm sorry, dog fan, about the. Let me see the. Oh, P Fox. Hold on a minute. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that. That slipped by. Phantom with the gifted 5 memberships. Thank you again. I highlighted OP. The robot pig. No, that's a hippo. That's a hippo. And thank you so much, P Fox. We're gonna be we're just fine tuning some things with the Discord stuff, and so there's gonna be different things for the Discord, with memberships and things like that too, access to things. So we'll be getting that stuff fine tuned out. Like I said, I'm not going to be live as much as I usually have been in previous weekends this weekend, because I'm going to be working on the setup, working on a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, stuff that we got to figure out, different meetings, things like that. So I'll be busy, still be working on the show from when I get up until I'm falling asleep, but it's going to be a lot of the background stuff. So I'll be having some updates about different things coming out here soon. And then we'll be able to have other things offered, especially with the membership stuff too. Um, when it comes to, like the emojis and stuff, I have all these are part of the logos actually for the emojis. And I have a new peace, positivity, and progress logo I want to reveal to you guys today too. I'm excited for that. But you got your homework, you got your peace, positivity, and progress. You got your 150. You got all these different things that I'm going to be putting up there. But this is something that, excuse me, this is going to be the new logo, and then this is going to be on the clothing. And this is going to be with. Let me see here 1 second. Oh, I wish I could, because it came through email. Hold on. Well, how can I do this? Sorry, I guess I have to send it to myself in order to show you guys. Never mind, because it's not on Discord. Do me a favor, send it to me on Discord if you can, Cherry. Because we were working together on I wanted to do a new logo for everybody with the peace, positivity, and progress. Now we have the crest, which is that's badass. Now I can't do the crest as much on the clothing, but I do have a new logo because I'm going to be getting some other hats that have the peace, positivity, and progress on it. So instead of this, you'll see my peace, positivity, and progress logo on my hat. But I'll have to send it to myself to show you guys. So you just give me a little bit for that. But we will be having updates coming out here for the show coming soon. So I wanted to kind of talk to or ask you a couple questions about the case that you were covering last night, Silky.
Yeah.
Tanner, what was it again?
Tanner Barton.
So, and that's in Kokomo?
Yep. Yes, it is. Kokomo, not far from Delphi. For all y'all Delphi folks, y'all are well aware of the problems that Kokomo has. What you want to know?
When did this case take place again? What year was it?
2012.
2012. And so I heard her say like Nancy Grace had something to do with the case closing. What the hell does Nancy Grace have something to do with the case closing? This is Tanner Barton, everybody.
Yeah. She was, I'm going to have her tell her story in one of the segments that we do about she was on Dr. Oz, supposed to be on Dr. Phil, and she was on Nancy Grace. My understanding, now it's been a while since we talked about Nancy Grace, but my understanding is Nancy Grace's channel got a lot of flack and threats, I guess, to not continue. Yes. And I don't know all of the details. Again, that's why I want to have her on and explain it. I know what happened with Dr. Oz, but I don't.
Hold on, Dr. Oz too?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so hold on. There was more than one TV personality that had something to do with this case closing?
Yeah, well, his was not for the same reasons as Nancy Grace. For them, it was, I don't know. I don't know if I get in trouble saying this, but this is what Michelle told me.
Okay, hold on. Is it graphic in nature?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just, it's going to paint Dr. Oz in a bad light.
Okay.
So that just depends on you.
Private chat me real quick. I don't know. Whoops. Did I open a can of worms? Whoops. Let me see. I'm not sure. Let me see here. I'm not sure what's up with the Amazon thing. It should be. I'll have to. Let me see here. You reached out to me, Dog Fan, on the email, right?
Speaking of Dog Fan, I didn't see if you had a response. I wasn't trying to be rude. I'm just an Alabama fan, so I had said Roll Tide at Dog Fan, but that's okay. Go SEC. But you know, it is what it is. If you're an Alabama fan, you're just a little bit arrogant, and I know that. So it's my only flaw.
We can do. We can do. Right.
Yeah.
Let me see here. What can I look up? Let me look at what can I look up for this case to kind of what's like the best. Let's see, Tanner Barton. Is there like a case introduction type?
I'm trying to think. See, I got it straight from the source from the get-go. And
this is oh, here's them talking about Dr. Oz. Okay.
I was going to say that episode of Dr. Oz is not available. He pulled it. That's how mad he was.
What? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a minute. This is... It went... Come on, StreamYard.
Go Dogs. And Dog Fan, it's almost we're just days away from the first game, Alabama game anyway. I'm surprised you found that. I know if you go to, I guess it's somebody who has recorded it, because if you go to his, show his episodes, that one will not be on there. But I know somebody sent me a whole link to it. It's somewhere in my email. I've got the show, but it's not up.
So who was she, the mom or the aunt?
Yes, she's the mom. She's the mom. Yeah. And what happened with Dr. Oz is that they were all into this. Of course, he did a whole show on it. His team of what do you call them? I'm drawing a blank. The people that investigate the lab people and all this. They definitely said that Tanner's death was not it was not an accident. It was definitely a crime. However, because nothing matched up, the toxicology did not match up with what the police were trying to say. So she gets on Dr. Oz's show, and she does a whole thing, and his people, like, he's got his own forensic person, and
Dr. Oz does.
Yes, this is staff. They just work for him, so he's got a whole team. And so what had happened is they were going to go and do, some more stuff and really dig into this. And Michelle, because she was on Dr. Oz, she got a call from somebody. It would almost be like the same thing as Good Morning America here, but it was in Canada, and it's called like Good Day Canada, something like that. Right. And she had no idea that there would be a problem. They asked her to come on there. So, of course, she wants as much press as she can get for Tanner's case. And when she goes on to that program, Dr. Oz's show got really, really mad because they wanted the exclusive rights to this. And she says, like, I never signed anything that said, only you can cover this. And
Oh,
so
wow.
they got really
Okay.
mad and they dropped the case. And yeah, they caused her a lot of problems. And she didn't go into details of what happened, but they shut it down. And they were so angry that they pulled it from their episodes. So,
Whoa. So they
yeah.
got jealous
Mm-hmm.
because,
Yeah.
but she never signed nothing.
Yeah.
So they
So,
just,
I mean,
I've heard of that happening from News Nation too. Honestly,
well,
I've heard from other people that News Nation has done that too. Where
I,
they,
and you know what you've been through recently and, stuff. I know we just think of it as a YouTube problem, but apparently it is a media problem across the board.
yeah.
Jealousy,
Mm,
whatever.
mm,
And so, yeah, it happens with the big folks too. And so, yeah, they did
yeah.
everything they could to shut down her case. Not
Mm.
because I don't think they got any threats that I'm aware of, but it was just plain meanness.
Wow. Out of spite,
Mm-hmm.
really.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate too, because it is about, it's supposed to be about community and everything. And, you know, um, unfortunately, sometimes or most of the time, I should say, it's not.
No.
Um, but, you know, we don't live in a world where it's sunny every single day we wake up. There's storms. Shout out to the people. I'm glad to hear everybody's safe in all the different locations with those storms from the community. Um, I, I guess it didn't end up being as bad as it could have been or what they were projecting. So, and speaking about, this whole, the thing with media, eh, how what they try and do. I'll be having another video come up from Harsh after this one. Um, and after we get into this is, and I definitely, like I said, Silky, anytime that you want, I want to make sure that you're available. Um, if she would ever like to come on, I want to make sure that you're available to be on the episode too, because I want you to be highlighted as well.
Aw.
No, for real, because I didn't even know about it until I was just coming to your video just to show some love while I was doing some prep and stuff. And I think it's only right to make sure that you're highlighted too, because when I was watching it, everybody, Jinx, if you can put the link to Silky's episode for that, I'd appreciate that. You do such a great job with your guests, and you have great questions, great thoughts and theories and responses, and you're on top of your game
Aw.
when you're doing lives. And you know what, I know you said in that episode and even before that, uh the live show thing wasn't really a thought maybe that much in the beginning, but I'm glad you did,
At
because
all.
you were shining, and you do such an amazing job. um
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I never considered myself a live person. So I've only been doing live since I think like June, maybe May, June. Uh, but you know what I found out? I really only considered myself a video person, and I love doing those. And it was very difficult to jump into that live spot that YouTube was pushing everybody to do.
mhm.
But I find that when I don't go live, um, and I'm working on stuff or I'm working at work and I'm really busy, I miss my community. I
Yeah,
miss my
you really do.
people.
Yeah,
I
you
know I
really
get to
do.
talk to on Discord and stuff, but it's not the same. Uh, so yeah, I am starting to really enjoy lives just because I want to hang out with these people all at one time.
That's why sometimes I do private stream yards, because everything you see right here for the show is excuse me, is basically what you'd be seeing on the StreamYard, and then I just have private StreamYards sometimes where we'll chill back, watch something together, just like we're watching here. So you'll hop up on panel, you just click on full screen, and then you have it full screen. You see everybody chatting or whatever. Yeah, Silky has a channel. Definitely go sub. And what are you wanting to hang out on your show later tonight, or what are you
Yeah.
feeling?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love for you to. I want to do some or whatever. I'm open to anything, but I was thinking about some dumb criminal cases uh because I really love to have a show that's a breather from the seriousness and
Mm-hmm.
the heaviness of true crime.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's good to laugh at criminals.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But whatever, just give me a time. I have a couple of things. I just have to take my daughter to work, but other than that, I'm good for any time today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And yeah, she's so awesome. Definitely go sub and definitely check out the episode of Tanner Barton. Seriously, it's what, 2 hours? A little over 2 hours, just skosh over.
Yeah, I've got
Um
several. I need to make a whole playlist just for him. But
yeah, me
this
too.
is like our third, I think, maybe session. But yeah, there's a lot on Tanner Barton, and we've got so much more to cover. So
Here, Lulu, hold on one second. And that's all right. Don't worry about it, heavy metal, because that's one thing, and that's what I'm proud to say. Like when it comes to the mods and what I don't even really ask, and I don't even want really the mods to feel the need that they need to post any links because I can do it myself. And also because I think I've been mods for bigger channels, and one of the hardest things to do, here's Silky's link. One of the hardest things to do is to be able to to either pay attention to what the creator's saying or pay attention to the conversations going in chat because you're so worried about posting links. And
yeah,
so when it comes to my mods, that's one thing that I tell them. I can post them if we need to. Don't worry about it. I want you guys. It's about community, number one. And that's why I
yeah,
think everybody talks about the community over here, is because they're focused on the conversation. They're able to stay aware and be the other boot that we're a transformer. Um, they're a boot, and they even notice stuff before I even notice stuff. So I think that's the reason why everybody talks about the community, is because the mods are able to focus on what everybody wants and is talking about. And it's about feeling included. And because I run a live show and I'm on one screen, I can't see a lot of shit sometimes. and
mm-hmm,
and and that's where the mods, that's where I appreciate them so much, because then if I miss something, hey CJ, or if there's a different conversation, or there's different combos happening, it's just great, I think. And I think it's because of that. Like, so heavy metal, please don't ever worry about posting links. I can always do it if need me, and most of the time, really, we're just posting links of the videos that we're watching, and the creators that I'm using, and then any guests that we have up here. So definitely. I think that's one of the best things, is just being able to focus on that. Because when I was, man, I know, trust me from experience, it would be so hard. And then I'd feel so bad because I'd feel like I worked a 20-hour shift after a 2-hour show from trying to post links. And then I would
yeah,
feel bad because I didn't get to catch half the conversation of what everybody was talking about. So to me, it's important.
right.
Don't worry about links, for real. We got it. Yes, appreciate that. All right, so let me check this video out. So, was he in college? What,
Yes. Okay,
what?
Tanner,
Uh,
and I'm not sure how this news report's going to go, but basically, Tanner was in college, and make a long story short, he went to some friend's house one night. He was not a partier. Not to say that he never, I mean, he's in college. Not to say that he never drank or never did anything, like
Okay.
uh, the green stuff. I don't know. I don't want to get you in trouble. But he basically went to a friend's house and somewhere he had frequented a lot. And we don't know exactly what happened because everybody's story is a little bit different. They say that he drank and passed out. But when they woke up in the morning, he was not alive. And so there's a lot of controversy of how long did you let him lay here? So much back and forth. But basically, his cause of death had nothing to do with any kind of substance. It was positional asphyxiation, which means he couldn't move. Like where he was, the
What?
way he was, he could not move to breathe. And so it caused his heart to enlarge and everything. But that was, and it says in the coroner's report that secondary is secondary to the asphyxiation. Well, there's not, just alcohol. Even if you did, one of his reports, toxicology reports, said he had THC and a very low level, 0.063, not even the legally drunk limit in his system. And the other toxicology report said there was nothing. There's no amphetamines. There's no nothing. So they tried to spin it a bunch of ways. But basically, even if he had those substances in his system, he didn't have enough to make him pass out, make him be, drunk and pass out. He
Okay.
didn't have any physical problems. I mean, he was a football player. He was, on college. He was always being checked on. Never had a problem.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
what they did know is some of the people that were lived at the house and where they were to a veterinary clinic. The vet at that clinic, his name was Todd Cooney. He had lost his license he had just gotten it back like maybe 6 or 7 months prior to this. He had lost his license because he had an addiction to ketamine. If you remember, CJ, back a few years ago, the drug of choice, in the clubs and whatever was Special K. It was ketamine, which is a tranquilizer. Very
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mixed
and very
with.
accessible at the veterinary clinic. So he had already been busted so badly he lost his license. Several of the people that lived in the house that, Tanner collapsed in were working at that vet clinic. That clinic they already knew they had some missing ketamine. So the supposition is, they were partying, that they put some ketamine in a drink. I don't know if Tanner knew or if he didn't know. Like I said, he wasn't, according to everybody, he wasn't like a big partier. He was very physical and he had to keep his football career. Anyway, they think what happened is that one way or another, he got the ketamine, collapsed, and passed away there in the basement. But instead of them responding and calling, 911, they waited hours. And ketamine only stays in your system about 4 or 5 hours. So they're thinking the reason that that no one was called is because, they would be charged in first of all, he was underage. He was not 21. He was 19. So there was a lot of cover up. The very next day, that morning, like everybody had attorneys. The other kids in that situation we don't know for sure they were there, but their
Right.
lawyers would not let them, and I don't understand this, their lawyers would not let the police speak to them and interview them. I don't know how that's legal.
It kind of reminds me of Stephen Smith
Yeah,
and Mallory Beach type stuff. Speaking of,
yeah,
that's another one I needed to start
yeah.
covering.
I haven't heard anything. So anyway, after the coroner said this is a crime scene, they did not process it as a crime scene. They basically just, said, okay, we're done here. And they gave her crazy toxicology reports. The evidence, there was no chain of custody. They didn't take like bottles from, they were drinking pineapple juice and they said Bacardi, but obviously Tanner didn't have enough in his system to cause that problem. There was also, blood on the walls going up the staircase, or scratches, not blood, I'm sorry, scratches going up the walls, and there's a lot of odd things. Yeah. So,
okay,
like,
so were they his? Did they confirm that, or they just, it's a shoddy,
yeah,
there's
they
holes
didn't.
all over it kind of shit?
Right. And they saw the bottle, they saw the pineapple juice, they saw glasses, they saw the alcohol, but they never drug tested anybody in the family. Both of the parents of this at this residence were there. Nobody was ever tested. None of the other kids that were with him, who were very good friends of his, were ever drug tested. And they didn't, like a crime scene, you would take the glasses, right? Put them as evidence in the little plastic bags and label them and do the chain of custody and all that stuff and test them at the lab. They didn't do any of that. Absolutely nothing. Even though the coroner said this is a crime scene. Immediately, some of the supposition is Dr. Cooney had a lot of friends, whether in Kokomo, whether that be other doctors, a motorcycle club that he was involved in, and there's some sketchy motorcycle clubs there, and there's some sketchy clubs, gentlemen's clubs. Let me put it that way. I don't know if you know about the case of Judge Fouts, but it was
No.
he actually got disbarred because they had a very misogynistic is a very mild word for it. It was
Where was
they like
this
to in Kokomo, Indiana.
Okay.
Same place. Anyway, he got involved. They had pretty much a ring of, although they weren't sending them out so much, it was kind of like a girl trafficking ring. You know what I'm saying? And he got busted. And, but there was a lot of people involved in that, but he did get disbarred. And again, so this shows you all these people that Judge Fouts was talking about, in his club. We're talking about, we don't know all the members, but if you're a judge, guess who your friends are going to be? They're going to be lawyers. They're going to be law enforcement, potentially. You're going to have the same people with money who like to harm women and run whatever other kind of illegal stuff they're doing. So you've got a hotbed of cover-up and nefarious activities by your officials, and which is, it's not questionable. Judge Fouts, it's on record, And there have been a lot of law enforcement officers in that general area who have been busted with CP and, CSAM type things. So, and although that's not Tanner's case, it just goes to show you what's going on in that area. So now you've got Tanner and you've got some, potentially illegal ketamine, and I don't think that anybody meant to harm Tanner, and Michelle doesn't either, even though you speculate. I don't think she really feels like it was intentional,
Really?
But nobody has ever been held accountable.
That's weird, honestly. I don't know, something, because wait, like it was a party and it was an accidental?
Yeah, it wasn't really.
To me,
It wasn't. No, go ahead.
I mean, because to me, there's like, you know, like when you hear about stuff like this, right? A lot of the times you'll hear him like dropping them off at the freaking hospital or something and then taking off.
Right.
Like, why are you going to let your friend, if it's not, right? If it's not for negative avenues, why wouldn't you try and take your friend to the hospital? Why would you just wait the however many hours go by so the drug wears off before you? I don't know.
Yeah, I
Something
mean,
just
there's
doesn't make sense.
right,
What do
and the scratches on the wall up the stairs. When I was talking to Michelle live last night, I was like, "Do you think they tried?" Now Tanner was a big boy because I think he was like a linebacker. He was a big boy, and I said, "Do you think they tried to push him up the stairs, like to get him on the first floor? Because this was in the basement."
Mm.
And maybe he was trying and lost his grip, and or somebody's clawing at the walls trying to, I don't know. But the reason, I don't know if they realized that it was too late. But the big reason that they didn't want anybody in there to investigate is because Todd Cooney says he wasn't there. Now, let me tell you, the name of the parents that were at the house that Tanner was Jeff and Carol Lindskog. I know it's a weird name. Uh, so Carol and the veterinarian Todd Cooney, they were having an affair at the time, and they are now married. It's a big old mess. But at the time they were, and again, a lot of these people worked at Todd Cooney's vet clinic. Now, Todd had just been busted, just got his license back. Everybody's jobs are at stake. Plus, Jeff and Carol, if the police knew they were letting underage teens drink at their house, then, that would have been jail time anyway. Now you've got one that has actually passed away. If they had found ketamine anywhere in there, it's automatic jail time. Automatic manslaughter if nothing else.
Yeah, right.
So I think everybody was made to hush and try to act like this was, somehow just an accident. Tanner drank too much, Tanner this, Tanner that. But if you're the coroner and you're the police and you come to a crime scene where everybody works at a vet clinic, you already know the history with this vet, you already know that ketamine is a problem, and you see somebody at the bottom of the stairs with positional asphyxiation, they couldn't, basically he stopped breathing, he couldn't move to breathe. It's a complete tranquilizer, like putting you under. So, and that's why when you have surgery, you have a tube down your throat, because they have to breathe for you. It takes you out, like it completely tranquilizes your muscles and, knocks you out. That's the whole point. That's why you have to have an anesthesiologist. So if you don't have that and you have ketamine in your system and everything just kind of stops, you're not even breathing. So, I mean, here you go. You have the coroner saying, hey, this ain't right. This doesn't make sense. This is a crime scene. But the police already know the history of this house. They already know the history of Todd Cooney and the problems that they're having with Special K at that time. So, and they call it a crime scene, but don't investigate it, and then basically tell Michelle she's nuts, to make a long story short. But she can go into all the detail of the horrible things that they did to her. And Tanner's possessions. Yeah. So it's heartbreaking.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What college again was it? Because he was going to college.
He was going to, oh my gosh, Jinxie, can you remember? His girlfriend was going to Purdue. I think it was.
I want to say, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I want to say, sorry, I can't, for some reason, I can't get signed into my Amazon right now, so it's not letting me claim the code. But once the show's over, I'll be able. I can't remember the password for it. So once the show's over, I'll be able to get the password thing figured out again. It just did like an automatic sign out 30-day thing or whatever. I got to relink it or whatever. Um, but once I get that code figured out, I'll be able to claim that. I want to say thank you for that, Dog Fan. I appreciate that. And that'll be going to, it's a Amazon gift card. So it'll be going to the Amazon store for the items that are on the store. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
To answer your question, I think the name of the university was something like Northwestern. I know his girlfriend was going to
Oh,
Purdue.
okay. So
So,
Chicago.
I mean, yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, Indiana's not
Northwestern
far.
Chicago.
So,
Okay.
that's where Tanner was on the football team. And yeah, doesn't have the thing is with Tanner, he doesn't have a history of, being a party boy. You know. It's not like, and here, and it's like I told Michelle, it doesn't matter if he decided, oh, I want to try this, or whether they slipped it to him. What happened is that they let him pass away in their house and not get him help and not own up to what they were doing, because they're all looking at jail time.
Right. Yeah, because it is a crime because you left the dude sitting there or whatever.
Yeah.
It is a crime.
Yeah.
So
So
did
that's
these kids
basic.
did these so was it did these kids like dip after that? Like
Yeah.
what? So everybody dipped. Nobody
Yeah.
could be, they basically were maybe questioned minimally, if at all, allowed in basically, because you hear about a lot of these things where they can't hold people if they don't have specific evidence. And so they just kind of dispersed and
Yeah.
took off. Wow.
And the thing is, before, when they realized that Tanner had passed away, it was like 9 in the morning, somewhere around in there. Before they ever called 911, the mom, Carol, she called her lover, Todd Cooney, to tell him that Tanner had passed away. Before they called anybody else, she calls him. You tell me why you're going to call him when there is an unalive kid in your house, unless he had something to do with having a substance. He was there. They knew there was ketamine or whatever. It's very sketchy. And then not even the parents called 911. They had I think Marcus was, they had their son, I don't know, he was a teenager still, whatever. They had him, Tanner's friend, make the 911 call. And I played that call yesterday. It took her 9 years to get a copy of the 911 call. It is literally 58 seconds. That's it. After 9 years, they said that's all there is to it.
Isn't that the normal practice up there? Because, like, the whole fucking area up there seems like all the 911 calls are sealed.
I don't know. But, of the 58, first of all, I mean, it takes more than, I've never heard a 911 call that was 58 seconds. Less than 1 minute. Usually they say, stay on the line until somebody, with me until somebody gets there. No, Marcus hangs up and he's like, okay. They're like, we're sending somebody out. And he's like, okay. Bye. And they hang up.
There was no intensity in the voice or anything. There was no sense of urgency. There was no panic,
No.
anxiety, caution, nothing.
No. He was very calm.
Shit.
Yeah. Calmly
like he's calling
calls.
the cable company.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
and you can tell. What?
No, I was just saying, like, yes, I'm having internet issues. Just kind of talking like that. Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And you can tell that it's been cut. You can hear like little parts, which, if you're just going to cut silence, that's one thing. But there is, in 58 seconds, there's barely enough time. The 911 operator says, well, is he breathing? And I don't think so. I mean, it's like, it's
I don't think so.
ridiculousness. Yeah,
I
it's
don't
something
think
like
so.
that. Like, I don't, you know,
So, well, so
yeah.
then what? Hold on. So, hold on. Hold on a minute. So, so the 911 call, this person they're being asked if they're breathing or not, and the response is, I don't think so. And the
Yes, it's
call's only
something.
58 seconds, and they're not asking them to go check a pulse?
Yeah, well,
It's
they said something
like,
about the pulse, but he basically in this 911 call, they're basically saying, you get the impression that they know that he has passed away or there's nothing going on, but there's not any, like a 911 call, your friend is screaming, please hurry, you know, I don't feel a pulse, I don't, whatever. But actually, when they
something,
got
yeah.
there, his whole left, I think it's his left side, was all bruised where the blood had pooled, and which meant that he had been unalive for quite a while to have all this blood pooled in this area. And he had, froth coming out of his mouth and all this kind of stuff. Well, if you truly wake up to this situation, you're going to be screaming at the 911 operator and saying these things. Oh my God, he's blue. He's, whatever. And nobody seems like they're that all concerned. It's
Hmm.
crazy. But as a parent, I know if something, God forbid, but if something ever happened to one of my kids' friends when they were over here, I would not tell my child to call, even my, older children. I would not tell them to call 911 unless I was doing CPR and I couldn't. But otherwise, I would be the one to call and report this, right? Because you're the adult, you're the owner of the house. It's
Man.
crazy.
Yeah, you gotta, I don't care, whatever night, I think what I would like to do, um, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out something for that. Whatever night, like, not only that she would be available, but I want to make sure you know, it's a show with you and her and whoever, you guys would decide. Um, because, man, that it definitely needs to get out there. The fact that I want to figure out, I don't know. I want to figure out like why, because when I heard the whole Nancy Grace thing, like like I used to love
Mm-hmm.
Nancy Grace, and then the whole, creepy fucking all this crazy shit, security camera, blah blah blah. It's like monster,
Yeah.
monster, monster. And then her and that Chris McDonough or Dunu or whatever his name is, just being on this whole SK fucking kick and shit. And it's like, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little bit
But
scary.
it makes when I heard her say about Nancy Grace having something to do with the case being closed, that's when my ears were like, "What?" Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. And then now to hear Dr. Oz too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh,
Yeah. And she was supposed to go
uh-uh.
on Dr. Phil, but Todd Cooney, the veterinarian, they was supposed to be both of them. But then Dr. Cooney decided he would not go on Dr. Phil, and so she didn't go either, because that was going to be the confrontation.
Hmm. Dr. What? Moody?
Cooney, Cooney,
Cooney.
Todd
Okay.
Cooney. And
Okay.
yeah, I called Michelle after I got off my live yesterday because I saw your comment in there, and then last night, so I had called her and said, you wanted to cover this story. She's very excited. Yes, we definitely. She and I talked about it at length yesterday. She's very much on board, with coming on, and of course I'll come on with her. But yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't.
she's great. She's a great guest.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just want to highlight you too because you're the reason I came across the kid. No, for real, you're the reason I came across it, and I want to make sure because I mean, listen to you. Everybody is talking about how much you know about this case. Like for I would have to have you on just because, like, just having you both on there, and then kind of where I'm kind of curious and I'm asking different questions. I think it would be great to get all of that information on display with the on the fly conversations and questions
Yeah,
that come with everything.
sure. Well, the thing that breaks my heart for Michelle is that not only did the whole law enforcement let her down, but she has been let down by all these people, like we just mentioned. Plus, there have been podcasters and other people who successively have taken her information and, said that they were going to help. And without naming names, she had a very tough situation not too long ago where someone she considered a friend had all this information and had gotten it from the whole pieces of the case file that they would not give Michelle, somebody else got and went through it and then got mad because Michelle
What?
went somewhere else. Yeah, this is what happens to her. Somebody gets mad because they want the exclusive rights to this story, and this was the same situation with this podcaster. And which I think several, so don't go look and say, well, it's this one or it's that one. I know who it was, but several people, people, podcasters cover stories, so I'm not saying it's a certain one. But anyway, this one got upset that Michelle was letting somebody else cover the case and work with it, and got so mad that took all of the case files that she had not given Michelle the copy of yet and sent them back to the police, whatever, whoever she got them from, the court, however she got those. Yeah, sent them back. So it left Michelle with not that much. I think I've probably got about 70 pages of his case file, and but she's going to be getting those back. She's requested them back, and they said that they'll give them to her. So we'll have some more stuff. But yeah, that's what's heartbreaking is not only have you lost your son, but all these people are trying to grift on you. I'm like, I just want to tell your story. Hey, I'm good, CJ. I have no rights to her story. That is Michelle's story, and I hope more people cover it. I would love for you to cover it, and as many other
Yeah,
people as can cover it. That's what it's about, justice. Um, in
right.
this case.
Yeah, it's just when I heard no chain of custody, I was like, "Yep,
Yeah.
you just let me know," because
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, when you hear no chain of custody, I love you guys too. I appreciate you guys so much, and thank you for hanging out and being here in this daytime true crime. I absolutely love it. Shelly, let me see here. Thank you. Hold on, let me see. Where's that? Number one. Thank you so much, Shelly. I appreciate you. And also, kick ass new icon photo as well. I know you changed that last night. Um, Wanted to say that again. And let me see here. Give me 1 second. Lock down this thing. No, thank you. Just being here. I appreciate it. So this is actually I'm gonna because the video that we were going to here, this one right here. Actually, I'll
Yeah.
just watch it from right here
Yeah.
instead of the YouTube. Let me see here. I do need to. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk more in the background because I would like to
Yeah.
kind of I kind of want to. Yeah, this stuff needs to be talked about. this is some shady ass shit. If
Absolutely.
this will even play. Yeah, I'm. Oh my gosh! Hold on. Okay. eBay Motors comes up and all sorts of
It's
shit.
probably an
Alright, I'm just
ad
gonna leave
before
that
it.
article sitting there. I'm gonna go ahead and play this. Yeah,
Two young girls.
I'm
And
gonna
as
play this.
on one of Indiana's
We'll just
most
stay on YouTube.
haunting unsolved murder
Oh, no.
mysteries, there is yet another case that's making national headlines. And this involves a Kokomo teen whose mom, 6 years later, is still desperate to learn how and why he died. Mary Mills on where she now is turning for help. Mary?
Come
And
on,
Michelle Barton
StreamYard.
says her son was perfectly healthy. The cause of death makes
This-
no sense. She believes there's a lot more involved. Last fall, she shared her story with talk show host Nancy Grace. And today, it's Dr. Oz.
We are back revealing the scientific approach to cracking a crime. Now, we're investigating the mysterious circumstances surrounding the death of 19-year-old Tanner Barton, who was found dead in his friend's basement after suddenly collapsing.
Tanner's mom, Michelle, on the Dr. Oz show, looking for answers, hoping for help.
You hold it up okay?
I am.
It was nearly 6 years ago that the Marion University football player died. His death ruled natural, despite him being healthy with no pre-existing conditions.
What do you think happened that night?
I think something was given to him. I think he overdosed.
She wants to know why additional toxicology tests weren't done, why those who found her son unresponsive called others before calling 911. Nearly 6 years later, the grieving mother says she has far more questions than answers. She told me that's why she turned to Dr. Oz.
I'm hoping that the investigation gets jump-started. I'm hoping that, Tanner's case is out there. People know. They know that things weren't done properly, that he was left to die, and he could have been saved.
We want closure, Michelle.
Oh,
I want to tell you that we also reached out to the coroner's office. We didn't hear back either. So that's okay. We're going to put more pressure on. You'll help with the letter. I want to get closure for you.
thank you.
We'll follow up with you as well.
Thank you.
God bless you.
She wants answers. Mary, what are investigators saying about all of this?
Well, I talked to the lead investigator with the Howard County Sheriff's Office. He says the case is still open, still active. Recently, they got access to Tanner's phone, so they'll be checking that. He also said the new coroner is taking a new look at this whole case
So a new
and going
coroner.
over all the records. So they're hoping maybe to find some new things there.
All right, and Mary, as because of the Olympics, we've had a little bit of programming changes. Dr. Oz didn't air today at 2, but it will be on Cozy TV. And if you'd like to see that, it's at 7 tonight.
Also, you can see it tomorrow on Dr.
So when did they get a new coroner?
Well, they
And
said
what
that
took,
was six years later. So I'm thinking that was like 2018, maybe?
Okay, and nothing's changed in the case. Not new
Nope.
coroner. Nothing changed.
Yeah. New coroner, still old corruption. There you go.
Okay.
There's Kokomo for you.
Well, it's part of those small communities,
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, Crime?
Yeah.
Then that sounds familiar. Plus the Gap. The Gap as well. let's
See, I think, and Michelle thinks, that at some point, instead of getting help for Tanner, maybe they were hoping that he would pull through. But if they called 911 when he was in distress and had taken him to the hospital, they would have found ketamine in his system, which would have busted everybody. But knowing how fast ketamine processes through the system, they thought, oh, well, if he can just make it, 4 or 5 hours, we're free and clear. It'll be I don't know what happened to him.
Okay. Yeah, enough to go around times 2 over for everyone. Let me
Yeah.
see. There was something else here. So this is Mom seeks justice. So this is from 6 years ago. No criminal. Let me see here. 1 second.
And there are so many dirty details behind the scenes that, Michelle and I could talk for a bunch more episodes of all the things that aren't common knowledge. Yeah, a lot of dirty dealings behind the scene, and it goes on and on. It's like Delphi. It just goes on and on and on and on.
Ooh, here's some. Oh no, that's not. There's not very many videos on it either.
Mm-mm. No, if
Let me
it had
see.
not been for Michelle, I probably never would have covered this case, because there's not enough details out there for a lot of things. But, I had a friend that said, hey, I know somebody who has an unsolved case, and, would you cover it? And I'm like, sure, let me talk to her. And you cannot not love Michelle. She is precious. She's absolutely precious. And we get on the phone and we just talk forever. But, yeah. A lot of things have been pulled.
There's not much about it. There's a couple documentaries that are like an hour and a half long. It would be interesting to check one of those out sometime on the show. Maybe do an episode about this before you guys would come on, and then we could kind of watch, have more of a background as a community first.
Yeah.
And then the next show, kind of everybody's caught up to speed, so that way when we're having the conversations that night, people kind of understand everything that kind of already took place. This is a short video here. These are all, like, seriously, there's only a few, and they're like 5 or 6 years old. Doesn't make sense.
It was at this house in the western part of Howard County where Tanner Barton was hanging out with friends back in 2012. According to this coroner's report, it was just after 2 a.m. when Tanner collapsed and died.
StreamYard.
Tanner's
come on.
mom, Michelle Barton, still can't
There we
believe
go.
her son is gone.
It's heart-wrenching. It's hard. I'm angry. I'm so angry he's here.
Wow, look at that headstone.
Because he was a fabulous kid.
I know.
Look at that headstone, the guitar. Man, that's awesome.
He shouldn't be here.
Michelle believes
Yes.
Tanner's friends who were with him that April night know more than what they're saying, including a friend who told police she saw Tanner collapse, checked his pulse, and thought he was snoring, so she went to sleep.
So those are the. Okay, so he was found at the bottom,
But he
right
was-
here, before you
No.
broke down.
No, he was actually
Is that-
found. That shows the staircase, but he was found at the bottom of these stairs. You can't see it, but the way it
those
goes, and
stairs.
I've got,
Okay.
yeah, I've got a staircase just like this, only mine splits at the landing both ways. But yeah,
Okay.
that's the top, and then it goes down to the basement, but then it turns, so that
Right,
if you are
turns out.
coming, yeah, so like if you are on the stairs up here in this picture, you can't see what's at the bottom because it twists.
It turns out, and then you got like a few more stairs to go down, and that's it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Where
Yeah,
it's like a little step up before you kind of change direction and go all the way up there.
right.
Let's see. Crime Sleuthin says, "Do the eyes on your cat pillow glow in the dark?"
Oh, can you even say that in here? I don't think so. I don't know. I never really look at it, and I don't think they do, though.
Yeah, they did do a documentary. I just found a couple of them. I'm gonna be checking out. I would like to learn more. I think watching your show would kind of showing your show would be a great way for everybody to kind of catch up too. Definitely a great episode.
Yeah,
So
the
this
first
is-
one is called Kokomo Corruption, Kokomo Delphi, something corruption.
Okay.
But it'll say Michelle Barton, and That's the first one, and I show the toxicology reports on that one, and I also show the coroner's report, which is not very long, really. But yeah, you can see that when we talk about the inconsistencies in that one.
The live section.
Yes, Michelle and I have only done lives. It's
right here.
Yeah, that one.
Corruption connection.
Yeah.
So let me see here. Here's the link for that one if you want to save it to your guys' playlist. And then the one that she had last night was right here. And I'll share that one. So you can add that to your playlist as well. And I need to add those to mine too.
Yeah, I had really hoped that some more people from the Kokomo area would, you know, or even the Delphi area would jump on this, because it is, you know, it's there where they live. They can make the most noise.
Right.
But I can tell you what, they surely don't want, the officials in that area do not want this case broadcast. Obviously. I'll let Michelle tell you about that, but yeah. They've done everything they could to stop it.
Wow.
Some, you know, I'll have to ask her about that.
If that don't spell right?
Absolutely.
Man. Yes, you'll love Silky. She's awesome. And thank you for
Thank you,
hanging out.
Wandering Orphan.
I wish there was a longer video to play you guys. Because let me see. Let me finish this one here.
Thank you, Brandywine.
Was snoring, so she went to sleep. About 6 hours later, she found him dead at the age of 19.
She knew something was up. Something was wrong with Tanner. You don't need to, you wouldn't check somebody's pulse if you didn't think that something was wrong with them. And 911 was not called immediately.
Autopsy reports show Tanner had THC and alcohol in his system, but he wasn't legally drunk. The coroner could not find what caused Tanner's sudden collapse and death, only that he was positioned in a way that cut off his air supply. Michelle wants more toxicology tests.
If we have to exhume Tanner, that's a hard one. But I do believe that we need to do it.
Tanner's case has captured the attention of many, including the group Families of Homicide Victims and Missing Persons, based in Colorado.
What stands out about Tanner's case is that there are, many people involved. There's a lot of inconsistencies throughout the case and the files.
Tanner would have been 25 years old next month. His gravesite shows just how much he loved the 4th of July.
He just always thought when he was little, oh, everybody's celebrating my birthday, Mommy, look. And the fireworks were going off. We're like, it's all for you, Tanner. It's all for you.
But this year and every year, there won't be any celebration until there's justice for Tanner. The Howard County Sheriff declined to be interviewed on camera, but says they are looking for leads, especially those with factual evidence. He says anyone with information should call their office at 765-456-2031. Reporting from Howard County, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
They only want people with factual evidence to call in. How about you just give us tips, because we're probably not getting that many, so we'll go through whatever tips you can fucking send us, maybe, huh?
Yeah. I mean, this case defies all logic. It really does.
Why put somebody in a position to determine themselves whether their tip is credible or not, Then
right.
Right there, you already just lost some of them. Come on, how many tips do you probably get in a day, a week, a month, or a year at this point Probably not too many. So who cares if somebody says, "Hey, I saw that guy at Burger King yesterday." Who gives a fuck? At least it's a tip that might bring you closer to the answer of what took place. But it sounds like they just don't give a shit what the answer is, and they
No. No, they
I
don't.
need
And
to
the
know
more
more.
years,
You know?
as the years go by, memories, you know how that goes. And
Oh
you
yeah,
start
they
asking
do
a
come.
question, it's like, oh, well, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. Let me, you're trying to dig things out and you just,
Mhm.
and I think they're just hoping that she will shut up, but she's not gonna. And that's the thing. If I had been shut down as many times as Michelle had been by so many different people, creators, national, people, whatever, I don't know if I would still have the strength to call up strangers, which is basically what she did, and say, hey, my name is Michelle Barton and this is my story. And,
Mm.
we talked, although we did have a mutual friend that
Strong
turned me
lady. Yeah.
onto her case, she's still got as much passion, maybe more than she did on day one.
Mm.
She's not letting it die. She's going to bulldog it all the way. And
That's
she's
good.
amazing. She's amazing.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Definitely good to hear. Let me see.
Hi, Cherry Cherry.
What's up, Cherry Cherry? Hey, Cherry Cherry, can you do me a favor and send me that logo to Discord, please? The new Peace, Positivity, and Progress one. Oh, thank you so much, Shelly. Oh, hold on a minute. Thanks for the community and good friends that share one. Oh, thank you, Shelly. I appreciate that. Thank you for the $4.99. Thank you, Silky, for hopping up here and kind of explaining this case to us. I appreciate that.
Oh,
And
no
definitely go
problem.
sub to Silky if you're not subbed. She does I mean, gosh, you're just on point. You
Thank you.
are just you're so focused and you just bam bam bam. It's great when you can go on YouTube and watch some of these true crime shows, and when you have panel members on or even special guests, and it's just like facts, great questions, great conversations, great interactions. It's not just a bunch of just sitting there just chilling, which we have those shows. But
Yeah.
when you have these shows about these cases, I mean, it's nice to to balloon around or whatever, but really it's just you're not having to like spend hours and hours and hours to get to the topic and to get to the information, and it's just one after another. It's just so awesome, and it's so amazing to watch your shows. So awesome
Oh,
work out
thank
there.
you. Another one,
Thanks.
if for y'all people who are, a little bit edgier, if you go back a couple of months, I did 2 interviews with Carol Stanhope, and she's Illuminati bloodline. And her story, she's got a book coming out, hopefully the end of this year. Her story, man, all I got to say is it's something else. And I've talked to her, vetted her. I've talked to her hours and hours on end, and that is some really scary crap right there. That's all I'm going to say about that. I think it got me a little bit shadow banned, but you know what? I don't care. I
Oh,
don't care. I'm going to say it
right.
anyway. I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah, they
That's
don't
who
want
I
you to
am.
talk about shit, right?
Nah.
So let me see here. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if there's any breaking news real quick. Yeah, reach out to me. I'll let you guys know. We'll definitely when we talk in the background, I'm gonna have an episode for the community where we're gonna discuss it. We're gonna kind of get into the facts and a lot of the. And if you'd like to hop on the night before that too, you're more than welcome as well. Because I'd like to really just kind of get into some of this like the documentary stuff and kind of get into the understanding of everything. And
Right.
then that next night, it'll just be nothing but, you know, we'll have maybe a question and answer, or you guys can type questions in chat, just hashtag it with Q. And then I could always ask it. You know, we can do something like that for sure. So now we're talking about this scary truth stuff. We've kind of brought it up a couple times, and it's kind of interesting because this video came out this morning from Harsh Reality, and it has to do with that same exact topic, but for the Idaho 4 case. So I thought, well, we'll be talking about some Idaho 4 stuff because we're going to be getting into some of this body cam from Truth and Transparency. Shout out to her. Appreciate her hard work and her efforts in the community. She does an amazing job and amazing work, and one of the best edit production type on YouTube. Definitely a channel and definitely a person to strive to only be that good when it comes to that stuff. I could only try. I try and do what I can do right now, you know, with different things that I show for the show, but she does such an amazing work. So there's going to be a lot of body cam stuff we're going to be checking out here shortly. But this is a video from Harsh, and it's about the scary truth with the Idaho 4 case as well.
Well, hello there, you beautiful, beautiful people. I hope you're all well and you've survived Friday, because this is video 2 of 2. So you know the drill. I want to touch on something sort of furthering on from the video that I did this morning and bring your attention to a video that Jules over at Julesville Trades did. I'll just show you this quickly. So if you go over to Jules' channel, she's got this one here, the very first one, 4 hours ago, a foreshadow of what's to come. I would say go and check out that video. Not now, because I'm more important. I do love Jules, but I'm more important at the moment. But she goes over some of the information surrounding the Idaho 4 case, the documentation, and specifically this another bone of contention, because there seems to be a lot of them. It's like a butcher's bin. And there's still issues surrounding this DNA situation. And it looks like what they're trying to do is they're trying to hide how they come about this DNA. The DNA sample that would eventually lead to the arrest of Brian Koberg. I've always had an issue with it because there's always been something that just felt missing. It always felt like there was something missing. And I think both myself and Jules, and I'm sure there's other people who have said the same, this case doesn't feel like it was investigated and that investigation led to a suspect, and that suspect was Brian Koberger. It felt like someone pointed their finger at someone and then the case was built around that person. You know, like it was, and I think Jules said exactly the same as a terminology that I use, and that is, it's almost like it was reverse engineered, where what you want to see in a case like this is that you see, and it's transparent, of how law enforcement came to find this person. And the documentation shows that, and it's very clear in how that's presented, so that when it goes to trial, there is a presentation to a jury that says, look, this is what we did, this is what we found doing what we did, and this is where what we found led us to, and that's why we're here today. So it's very easy to follow that chain of custody, that paper trail, everything. The I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. But in this case, it's not like that. There's a large proportion of this case that is removed, and instead of offering that to the defense when they're asking for it, they are constantly being rebuffed. That's constantly being held back, and it's being held back because they're saying that they're trying to protect certain elements, you know, certain people that they don't have the right to it. They want to protect, yada, yada, yada. And what Jules is showing here is they are using another case as a case in point as to where another trial, they hid.
And that's what we went over last night. Yoli and I was reading the document, and I'll go ahead and share it again here in a second when the video's done. And then I should have made a highlight about it last night, so I'm definitely gonna need to do that when the show's over today before tonight, because we did a read through and it's very interesting. I wish I would have thought about it at the end of last night to make a highlight about it. Dang it. But I'll kind of show you what we're talking about.
Information. They hid stuff. And it looks like what we could eventually see here is that the IgG information, this DNA, this missing piece, this missing proportion of this trial is going to be removed. It's not going to be shown. And that should scare you. As an American citizen, whatever side of the fence you are, that should scare you. Because what they're basically saying here is that we can obtain information, but not tell you how, not show you how, not show you anything. We can just say, this is who we think did a crime, or this is who we know did a crime, but we can't show you the workings of that. You're just going to have to trust us, because we can't show you how we did it, because it places other people at risk. Even though, as Jules again quite rightly points out, when you're in this system and you're going through this procedure, they have the ability to share information, both the prosecution to the defense to the prosecution, and file it in a way that protects the data. Like we're seeing with the grand jury situation, we're seeing that they've now been forced to give the information over. They didn't want to. They rebuffed, and eventually it's now going over after months and months and months of asking for it, and it's done under seal. It's done under seal to protect the identity of the jury, and that's how it should always be done. I don't see, and nobody should be able to see how the prosecution cannot hand over all of the information regarding the DNA, the finding, the workings, everything, and over under seal to give all the relevant protections, but give the defense everything that they are entitled to, that they should ask, especially when they have themselves brought professionals in that field into the fray who have said that this can be flawed, that this is not 100% certified, this is not 100% guaranteed. And then after that professional in that field has said what they had to say, they have then seemingly been coerced by the FBI, who were the main protagonists in this situation. So she then pulls back on what she said. And again, that should scare you. What if you had a child who was wrongfully accused of doing a crime? What if you were wrongfully accused of doing a crime and no one was willing to help you, or people were willing to help you, but they just kept getting rebuffed all the time? Again, it's very easy to have thoughts and feelings when you don't have skin in the game. But what about when you do have skin in the game? What about when the system that is set in place to protect you starts to work against you? And the freedoms that you have as US citizens and citizens all over the world, when those systems that are set in place, those things that are set in place to protect you, they are ignored. And they are wrapped around other technicalities and loopholes that mean that they are not considered. How would you feel then? Let me know down below. Go and check out that video. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Anyway, love you and leave you. And I'll catch you all in the next one.
And that's what we've been saying this whole time, you know, like, what if it was you? What if it was your loved one? Would you really be doing that, you know?
Exactly.
Man, these logos are so huge. Give me one. I can't even shrink them down. Shoot. Well, here's what I can share you. I can't shrink it down anymore, but that's part of. Sorry, if I could shrink it, I would. But this is what the new logo is going to be. On the photo.
Cool.
I'm going to be putting that on my hat. So instead of the little Major League Baseball thing, I'm going to be doing some hats and things like that. And so I will have some stuff on the merch store coming up this weekend, where there will be coffee cups, you know, the other usual stuff that I have on there. But I'm just going to be doing the t-shirts on with another company here. I've been kind of working on some things in the background for that coming up. But here is the link to the merch store. So sometime this weekend, I'll be having like coffee cups, stickers, things like that, hoodies, things like that that you can still snag. But I'm trying to work on a thing where I can get the t-shirts down to $15 and $12. Have one for $12 a month, a special one on sale, and then the other ones will be like $15. I figure make them, you know, cheap as shit, you know, because I think with all these little things that pop in my head, and I think I could have my own t-shirt line too in the future. So it's something that I kind of want to start doing.
God, me too, CJ. I think of things all the time. I'm like, there should be a t-shirt for that. I had wanted to do that at one time.
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool. Yes, and it's very creative. I wish I could show you like the whole thing. It's just, I don't know, for some reason they're coming across on Discord. They're so zoomed in that for some reason, and I can't share. Hold on. Yeah, they're just so zoomed in. I can't zoom them back. So you'll be able to see it. I'll have, like I said, I'll have the stuff on the store coming up, as, you know, especially a coffee cup, because I love making my coffee cups.
That is super cool, CJ.
So shout out to Cherry for helping me with that too. All right, so that was Jules's video. So let me see. Now I wanted to share this with you because I should have made a highlight out of it. It kind of sucks I didn't. But I am going to give you the link to this episode, and then I'll give you the timestamp here. So this is the episode that we were kind of reading through it last night. So here's the link for that. And it looked like, let me see here. Conference held on. It just keeps. So if you're not sure what they're talking about, Silky, this was they had a testimony with the DNA, the forensic genetic genealogy. They had a few people up there testifying. And there was a lady on there, the third person that was the witness to testify, had testified to some things. And as you're listening to the answers, she's kind of like almost, she's pretty much like answering how some shady shit can go down. Yes, Gabriela Vargas.
Wow.
No, not the middle one. No, the last one. And so it was kind of interesting because then they had another court hearing a couple days later. And that's when the prosecutor, Bill Thompson, said that he had, after that, he had, and I'll go ahead and play that video of him saying it in a second. Basically, he had sent investigators to Miss Vargas to find out what was going on, because her testimony that she had said on the witness stand, I guess, differed from what they were expecting, and they were not prepared, quote, to cross-examine her, which it wouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure out you can come up with your own questions to cross-examine without being prepared because of what's happening on the fly.
Yeah.
But instead, they waited until court was over and then sent investigators over there to figure out what was going on. And then that's when Bill Thompson stated that she, in fact, signed something that she didn't fully read. And therefore, her, her testimony shouldn't even be included. And they had a court document a couple days ago about an order vacating hearing when it comes to here, hold on, let me get the exact wording for that document for you. It was, let me see here. It was notice of intent not to cross-examine. Okay. And that has to do with basically what they're saying is that on the hearing, the court allowed the state to reserve cross-examination of two witnesses, Gabriela Vargas, who the defense disclosed without a CV the day before the hearing, and Lee Larkin, which is the lady that was on the screen a second ago. The state has determined that it need not cross-examine either of these witnesses, and that in addition, the state mentioned during its argument at the hearing that Judge Whitney in Canyon County ruled on a similar issue 1 week prior to that hearing, and that the state would provide the written ruling once available. And they included the transcript in another document after that. And that's what I'm talking about, and that's what we read through on this episode right here. So if you go to about the 2 hour and 10 minute mark, actually, no. My bad. It's 3 hours and 23 minute mark. That's when Yoli and I go into the transcripts, and it basically is talking about everything from this case to a T. It's very odd. So it's definitely a good listen or a good read. And so if you need that document as well, let me put that link out there for you. Basically, you just go to the case of interest for the Idaho government, and let me get that for you. So here is the link if you don't have this, so you can get to the documents, and that goes for all the cases there. And then let me see here.
I'm sorry, CJ. I am cracking up at
Sorry,
Dog
it's
Fan.
bugging out. Sorry, I'm trying to go through these documents. I haven't been able to see chat. 1 second.
Well, while
Trying
you're
to do all the same time as a task.
yeah. While you're doing that, let me just bring up in chat. Dog Fan was saying that somebody should do a YouTube channel for singles called Shoot Your Shot, where they interview guests. And I'm like, you know what? I cannot believe nobody's doing that. I'll tell you this, Dog Fan. I think that is a wonderful idea. I think that would go crazy. I've already got 2 channels. I don't have time for that, but I mean, wow.
Shoot Your Shot?
Yeah, where you interview like single people, like, okay, here you go. That would be honestly, that would be a very interesting platform. Stellar idea.
Let me see. Let me get to chat real quick. It dropped. Let me see here. Someone on YouTube shoot your shot for. That would be creepy because, you know.
You tell him what you'd get.
Well, I mean, right. You never know, you know.
Man, I bet it would go viral though. What an idea.
I'm sure it would. sure there'd be some
Hey,
crazy shit
Jinxie, we can host a program like that.
I'm sure there'd be some crazy shit going on.
Probably would. Oh my God. Yeah, that would be crazy.
Well, that's kind of how what's the Murder Sheet? Didn't they like get together for a case or something, started dating or something like that?
Yeah, that's how they met. Sure is. But I mean, you know, it's hard when you're talking about, at least for me, when I'm talking about true crime cases, and I guess being female, I am so much more emotionally charged in these cases. I get angry, you know, I get very intense, especially when we're talking about corruption or injustice. And so, you know, I'm so focused on that. I don't, you know, I'm not thinking about really anything except the case. But you're absolutely right. That would be hysterical. It would just be hysterical. You'd probably have to, I don't know how you'd do it. It'd be hard to do it live because
Yeah.
God only knows what would be said.
Well, I mean, and then you can't, you know, I don't know. I just special fucking flags with that shit. You know,
Yeah, I
sometimes
know.
I always think about the shitty shit that can happen, you know, just so I'm not surprised or some shit, you know, like, oh, I can imagine. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good idea, you know, with the way the technology is and how everything's kind of,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
catching up. It's
Yeah.
true.
I don't know.
I
You'd
bet it
have
would.
to.
I bet it would.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that sounds like a killer idea. It really does. I don't know. You'd have to vet people. You'd have to talk to them a little bit first and see what kind of crazy they're gonna bring.
Who needs VH1 anymore?
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Well, you could have your own road rules and shit on YouTube. You know, who needs it anymore?
I tell you, I don't watch TV. I just don't. And everybody is
All
always,
the
you know,
time.
at work and stuff. They're like, "Oh, are you watching this series? Are you watching this? This is really good." I'm like, "No." You know what I'm doing? First of all, I am researching for both YouTube channels that I have, and I am that's all I'm doing. And when I watch YouTube, there are some things that I watch that are more entertaining, you know, just to decompress. I like some of the reaction videos, but basically I'm watching YouTube. I have really no desire to watch regular TV because I'm always learning something, you know?
Right. You always have to. I mean, it's the thing about being a content creator. Well, most of us is it's as soon as you wake up until you go to bed, you're constantly thinking about things to update. You know, you're
Yeah.
researching, studying. It's a constant. It never ends, you know. And when it comes to the personal time, it is kind of far and few between because you are so focused on so many different things at the same time, and then trying to even be focused, but at the same time get caught up with stuff that you haven't been able to get to as well because you're trying to focus so much time on all these other areas as well. So that way
Mm-hmm.
you can make sure that you are, um, you know, doing what you're setting out to do. So, it definitely does take a family and a team. And, you know, as somebody that tries to do a lot of the things uh, on my own, you know, I could never imagine being able to do all the things that I can do right now without any of the help from, you know, the
Yeah.
community. You know, it's definitely it's a task. But once we do that Monday through Friday, it is on because I'm going to be available for so many things. I'll have another 9 or 10 hours a day to just devote and focus on this program. And I think it'll make a big difference when I'm able to do that. I think it'll make a huge difference.
Yeah.
when I'm able to do
And
that.
you set up you set up your system so well from the very beginning, having community involved. And I mean, you know, to this day, I still do all of my own research. And, I stopped doing videos, and that's all I ever intended to do. So, you're talking about even one short video, I call short, like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. There's hours of research and reading and vetting that go into that. And then looking at all the different angles. And then you have to, set up, shoot the video, hope to God, you get it right the first time, and, have to piece it together. The editing, at least 10 to 12 hours of editing on a video. And then, the uploading and the promoting and the description, like the tag, like you're talking about a humongous amount. And, people are like, well, why don't you put out more videos? Well, because I work full time and I've got, children living here. And, although they mostly take care of themselves, they're very needy, and so they really are. And so, it's like every spare moment goes into, YouTube. It's like, well, what about your social life? My what? My what? I don't have one of those. YouTube, that's my social life.
Mine is like this much.
Yeah.
Mine is like this much. But it's okay though, because it's about the end goal, because all of that other
Exactly.
stuff, this can be, way out to here. once that goal, and that's that's what you have to do to be successful. Unfortunately, sometimes is you have to sacrifice a lot of the fun
Yeah.
for a lot of the grind, and that's what it's about. And that's you if you don't work out, you can't get fit,
Exactly.
so it's the part of working out. So yeah, so definitely check that out, that little read through. I'll be trying to make a highlight after this goes over. Try to put a highlight out before tonight. So I'm gonna get to my there's no breaking news out there. I haven't seen anything coming across, so if you guys do, just shoot it out in chat, let me know, and I'll look it up. I'm gonna get into my August folder because I'm gonna get into some of these other videos here. And let me see here. If there's anything else anybody wants us to cover, go ahead and let me know. I put the links in chat for the document if you want to read it. It's 24 pages. It doesn't take too long because the font is really big on the court documents, and really it's like a paragraph or two and you're on to the next page. So it's a good 15-20 minute read if you wanted to read it on your own. Let me see here. Let me see what I got. So I got a whole bunch of different stuff. Now I do want to go into this body cam thing from Truth and Transparency, because we've been talking about it for a few days, and a lot of people have been saying about what is on the body cam, the conditions, the living conditions. I guess very disturbing. So we'll be checking that out. Some BTK stuff as well, and we'll be getting into Karen Reed here in a little bit too. Karen Reed, how much have you covered that, or have you at all, Silky? Karen Reed.
I am not familiar at all, but I kept seeing it come up on yours, and I'm like, this sounds like something I need to look into.
Okay. So let me see here. Come on, computer. Ooh, hold on a minute. This is something. We're going to get into the body cam next, because the body cam is going to take a little bit. This is the Crime Circus video everybody was wanting me to check out too. And I love Crime Circus, so give me one moment.
Yeah, me
here.
too.
We're going to check that out. Yeah, we're going to check that out. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I think I need to do like some kind of computer is just so boggy. Here we go. Come on. Does the music skip for you, Silky? Or is it just my side? Does the music
Every
slow down
once,
and speed up? Can you hear it at all? Or
I
is it
can
just
hear
mine?
it. I don't really hear it, or I don't notice it speeding up and slowing down. Every once in a while, your voice glitches. Not very often, but every once in a
Okay.
while.
Does it? Okay. Maybe that's when it's slowing down, speeding up. Maybe that's what it's doing on my end. Okay, so this is Crime Circus, and this is about Idaho 4 case here. Thank you all for hanging out with us today, Daytime True Crime. We're hitting the 2.5 hour mark, and we're still going to be going all day. We got so much stuff to get to, and this is Crime Circus. This is the newest video that they dropped. Brian Koberger, Good Vibes and Alibis. And speaking of, I thought I had some new neons coming, but maybe I don't. I have to double check that. I thought I did.
In this video, we're going to discuss Baby Drip, Brian Koberger, Moscow, Idaho, alibis, driving around at night, court, and so much more.
Oh my gosh, it's
You don't
so
want to
good.
miss a single second of this episode. And we need to know, does Ann Taylor and Brian Koberger make a cute couple? Stay tuned. Let's see what I have to say for myself this time.
He's awesome. And yes, we will be going into that body cam next from Truth and Transparency, everybody. I've heard about it, and I definitely have to watch it. I was hearing, like, the mods were telling me about it a couple nights ago, and I was just like, what the fuck? Yes. This would just be a quick watch, 20 minutes or so, and we'll be getting...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crime Circus. My name is Drip Drop, and I'll be your host most of the time. Baby Drip's here with me, and sometimes he'll be the host as well. Anyways, I'm certain you've come to expect booms
Baby Drip.
from these videos.
Love it.
You may or may not get some booms in this video. Stay tuned to find out. However, let's jump right in and start with the alibi. Brian Koberger's attorney says he was driving around late at night like he usually does. Is that a legitimate alibi? Even a lot of Brian Koberger supporters dropped their jaws and said, oh, no. That can't be his alibi. We thought for certain he was at home in his apartment, and he must have been at home in his apartment sleeping. No, that's actually Jack DeCour's alibi. Allegedly. Allegedly, Jack was sleeping. Brian was out driving late at night. And driving around late at night is not a crime. I know most of you out there probably haven't done it. But me, I've done it a lot of times. And I don't even listen to music when I'm out there doing it. I drive in complete silence. With my own thoughts. Gives me time. I drive on highways. I even drive down unknown dirt roads where I don't know where I'm going. Not a crime. Suspicious, okay. Weird, okay. Call me suspicious and weird. That doesn't make me a quadruple, passing away evil person. The alibi is so bad as if he's some genius high IQ mastermind, surely he would have had a better alibi.
One second. I'm going to rewind it just a minute. It is... Sorry for it bugging. I was even trying to unmute, and it wasn't even registering my unmute. So I apologize. God,
Suspicious, okay. Weird, okay. Call me suspicious and weird. That doesn't make me a quadruple, passing away evil person. The alibi is so bad that you know he's telling the truth. Because if he's some genius high IQ mastermind, surely he would have had a better alibi than I was driving around. Guess what? There are probably a lot of white Hyundai Elantras driving around in the early AM hours between November 12th and November 13th.
When I was doing that, multiple hour freaking drive, I mean, most of the time I'm just listen. I do the same thing. I love For some reason, I just love driving with no radio going. Just if I'm on the highway, just hearing
Same,
the,
CJ. Same.
it's the spot
Yeah.
you can dig deep into your head with your thoughts without it being clouded by all this other stuff that's going on. It's great for
Yeah.
deep.
Does that make us weird?
No, it's the best time to deep think.
It is, and that's why I love to mow the grass on the riding mower, which mine got stolen, so I can't do it anymore. But
Son of a bitch.
yeah, it was brand new too. Anyway, yeah, I love it. I get away from everybody. Nobody bothers me when I'm mowing the grass, and I'm just in my own head. I don't even realize half the time that I don't have the radio on. I am so deep in my own head.
I love it. It's the
So do
best.
I.
It's so productive, like, because there's so much other stuff, confetti that's floating in front of those thoughts, and the stuff that's in the back of your head is the stuff that needs to be thought about the most, because it's back there for a reason, because it's important. And I love the long drives. That's why I like thank you for the gifted memberships, Kid Kitty. Thank you to Rumsey, Tana. Yeah, I think it's just healing is what it is, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube keeps, thank you for the gifted membership. Yeah, the 503 air still happening. But it's still happening.
What kind of error is that?
It's where the chat, it's been happening for like 2 weeks now, where YouTube, the chat feed for the shows will
Mhm.
constantly, it'll time out. So it comes up with a 503 error, and you have to hit retry to get the chat
Ah,
back up. Yeah, constantly.
I bet
Even
that's
my
what
own chat feed,
happened. Yeah, go
it's
ahead.
YouTube. Yeah, it's
Okay.
YouTube. Hmm.
I
Yep.
only had
So if
that
anybody
happen.
says,
Go ahead.
yeah, if anybody says that their chat feed's not showing or something, it's YouTube being buggy. It's been like that for 2 weeks now
Oh,
or
wow.
more. Hmm.
Now, see, I don't usually have as long a lives as you do, CJ, but mine usually stay around 2 hours or less. And but my my members only that ended up not being private, where I had a lot of people on, Thomas Frost and Ruckus and Jinx and somebody else. Laura Thompson was on. Hope I didn't miss anybody. Anyway, it was like over 4 hours, and yeah, towards the end of that, my chat went blank. So I had to look at it on my
Hmm.
phone, and I didn't know. I just thought I was having an internet issue.
Nope,
So I'm
it's
glad
here.
you
And
told
then,
me. Yeah.
yeah, and then StreamYard's been bugging too at the same time. Like, I've had YouTube comments not being updated on StreamYard muting things automatically on its own, not screen sharing things. It's already tough enough to try and do these live shows, and then you add all the other stuff that you shouldn't have to, go through or deal with, um, on the live show, and just with the programs and stuff. It definitely adds more things that you got to try and work through, but we can deal with it. And
Yeah.
I want one of these baby drip dolls, damn it. I want one of
It's
those. Those are
cute.
so cool. It is so cool.
I love Clown
Anybody that,
Circus.
what is that, crocheting or something? Is that what that's like? Is that what you do,
I
the
don't
crocheting
know.
or whatever?
It's either knitting or crocheting. I crochet, but I don't know that I could do that. I might could. I don't know. But knit, I can't knit because you have to count. Like, you have to constantly know what number you're on, and I'm too ADD for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd have to take a lot of time. That's for sure. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Judge better not play today. Well, we'll find out. We'll see what happens. We got a hearing coming up at 1 p.m. Pacific.
18th in 2022. The chief of police said there was 22,000 white Hyundai Elantras in the area.
So far, we have a list of approximately 22,000 registered white Hyundai Elantras that fit into our criteria that we're sorting through. That's an awful lot of information. But
boom, that's a lot of white Hyundai Elantras. So the state forced his attorney's hand to even present an alibi. However, it's really messed up because they weren't even ready to present an alibi. Because the state has been stonewalling and gaslighting the defense, which leads us to the speedy trial not happening. There's been a lot of dirty tactics used against Bryan Kohberger and his defense.
Absolutely.
A speedy trial is always preferred. Bryan Kohberger certainly knew that the state was not prepared with a proper prosecution, because this is quite likely a false prosecution. You can see Bryan Kohberger right here. Look at him walking in the courtroom. I'm going to play this in slow motion. He has a moment with the deputy that brings him in. Bryan has what looks like he just wiped a little smirk off his face, and you can see the deputy clearly has a smirk. They make eye contact. They have a little repertoire. They have a connection. This deputy would certainly not be being buddy-buddy with Bryan Kohberger in Moscow, Idaho, if Bryan had actually done what they're saying he did. Boom. Also, these appear to be different officers than what was shown in my last video. The tall man, link down below if you haven't seen it. Bryan Kohberger is a really tall man. Why that matters? Dylan Mortensen said that the perpetrator was over 5'10" tall.
Oh my God.
5'10" tall is a huge difference compared to 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". You know somebody that's 6'3" when you see them. So you don't.
Right. And if Dylan, she's tall herself, if she's saying, yeah, you got to give the plus minus when it comes to the height.
Absolutely.
And the weight. You know, it could mean a lot of different things, but you would think Dylan would know if somebody's taller than her. She's 5'10", 5'11" herself. So she would know if somebody's the same height or taller than her. And 6 foot and a few inches is a hell of a lot taller than 5'10". So if you're 5'10", 5'11", you're telling you're making a statement that the person was 5'10", roughly. Then that means you're telling them they're about the same height. So how can somebody be, and you're only literally a foot or two as you're noticing this, witnessing this. So you would know if the person is taller than you. You would know if you're that tall, and then you're saying, well, yeah, then you're in your head, you're thinking, well, then they got to be like 6'3". It is a great point.
Don't say over 5'10". You say well over 6 foot. Are these officers tiny humans as well? I don't think so. They look like large men, which makes Bryan Kohberger a giant. True story. Anyways, we gotta backtrack. Let's talk about driving through neighborhoods late at night. I mean, we don't even know if he was in a neighborhood or not. We don't know where he was. He was driving. He could have been going down a back road without a camera. This is what it may have looked like. Just driving around. Some of you out there have analyzed the Linda Lane footage. You can hear a lot of traffic in the background. You can hear cars coming and going. And on the Banfield body camera footage, you can also see cars coming and going. There's some real contradictions in the arrest affidavit regarding the activity in that neighborhood. One wise man out there even referred to it as a circus. Were coming and going. The Linda Lane footage has been heavily analyzed, and some people have even proven that it's not a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra circling the Queen Road apartment building. This isn't me saying this, ladies and gentlemen. This is just information I've read on the internet. And with me reading it on the internet, everything does have to be taken with a grain of salt. However, we all have common sense. And common sense is important because it means you don't just believe what you read or believe what you hear or believe what you heard from your favorite YouTuber. You shouldn't trust anything you see on this show either. In fact, nothing can be trusted. Although I will always keep it authentic and real with you here at Crime Circus, because I appreciate you. If you're watching this, you may be a friend or you may even be a foe. But I'd honestly just prefer you to be family, because here at Crime Circus Cult, it's all love. And all we want is proper justice for the victims one way or the other. And we don't
And it's the same motherfucking place here.
want to see anyone else become victims in this case. Some people even think that it's okay to drive by the defendant's parents' house. Sneak, creep, and peek. That's called stalking. And being a peeping Tom is an actual crime. And it's quite possible Bryan Kohberger was being a peeping Tom on the early morning hours of November 13th. I think at this point it's very safe to say he was not the DoorDash driver. However, that's not even official one way or the other. All we can do is speculate. I did make 2 videos about the possibility of Bryan Kohberger being the DoorDasher, aka the Door Slasher. But maybe he was just peeping in the window and he saw all that happen and he was terrified. So he just kept driving around. Drove for hours. In fact, he was probably up for days. And as of right now, there's no evidence that Bryan Kohberger ever owned a K-bar knife, let alone a sheath to a K-bar knife. A leather sheath was found at the scene. The authorities have made the claim that nobody else's DNA could have been on there except Bryan Kohberger's, and that the number is some type of octillion with 27 zeros. An octillion is not even a number, specifically 5.37 octillion. Why not 6.37 or 5.98? How can it be so specific that it's 5.37 octillion? They say that's 27 zeros added at the end. That's make-believe, that's fantasy. That's like telling all your friends you saw a unicorn in the wild. You think anyone's going to believe you? I certainly wouldn't. Why not 4 octillion, 10 octillion? What's the difference once you get past real numbers? The highest actual real numbers that exist is trillions. Quadrillions if you're feeling frisky. Never, ever, ever.
What happened, CJ? Did it just... that video just glitch?
No, it's bugging again. So I noticed it was bugging again. So instead of the audio being skippy over there, I just pause it real quick and let it kind of StreamYard back up.
I don't
I
know
think it's
where...
okay now. Sorry about that, everybody.
Cherry, I sent you a
I
message
gotta
in
find a new
Discord.
program.
Go ahead. Hey, Cherry, if you would comment on my live from Silky Southern Tea, if you'll hop on there for just a second, I can make you a mod.
Sorry, it's bugging out right now. I'm just waiting for it to kind of be done. Because it's constantly going up and down.
I think I'm bugging this morning too.
Have you ever checked out any other programs? Have you checked out any other ones besides EVMU Max? Because this is just crazy.
I've looked at a lot of them, and some of them look pretty interesting, but I don't have anybody that I know. Before I become, some of them you can't use unless it's a paid service, so you can't use it.
Right.
Yeah, but I couldn't recommend, because I'm like, well, I don't want to pay for something, and then even a month, and then I find out immediately I don't like it. But there's some really interesting ones out there. There's one, I can't remember. I want to tell you, it starts with a P that was interesting.
Prism?
No, it wasn't Prism. It's something. It looked like it was a lot of fun. It had a lot of features. But then I read some reviews, and it's like, I think some people said it was glitchy. And, you know, it may be because they're relatively new. And I thought I may come back and try, you know, this out. So many people use OBS, and there are some stellar things about it, but dang, it's hard to learn. And you have to have all these patches, like, you know, these other things that you have to add into it. And I don't know. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, I know. And that's one of my hurdles with OBS is like, okay, when time to learn that. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I need to take a week off.
That might, for the future, I think that's the route. I think for the future, I think that's the route, though, is when I'm able to, like, have the time to learn it and grasp it and kind of dig into it on, you know, maybe even somebody showing me. If I'm doing the hands-on, it's like, boom, you know. And I think that's what's going to end up happening in the future, because just trying to learn it is the task, and I know that there's a lot of great things with OBS, so I think that will be the end result when it comes down to it. But yeah, just learning how to use it. So if there is anybody that would like to take a couple hours on a weekend day to kind of maybe show me how to use OBS, I'm definitely down for taking a day or a weekend to try and learn it and figure it out. Because it's just, you know, before it was like, yeah, when I'm able to, you know, set aside the time to learn it. Now it's getting to the point where it's like, you know what, this is like every freaking show. And before, when it happened once in a while, fine, I get it. But every freaking show, and how much you pay for it, it's like, I'd expect this shit on a free version, not on a paid version. And I always see these videos from them coming out with these new features that they're offering once a week, but why aren't you fixing your shit? You know, that's what I'm wondering. Where's the video on that? So, yeah, if anybody knows how to use OBS, reach out to me, and if you have a couple hours or something, I'd definitely love to learn. And then I can just start using that from that point on. And then I'll help anybody else out that also wants to learn as well. So it looks like everything's okay again. So I'm going to hit play. I apologize about that. And then we'll be going into the body cam ASAP.
Why not 6.37 or 5.98? How can it be so specific that it's 5.37 octillion? They say that's 27 zeros added at the end. That's make-believe. That's fantasy.
Yeah,
that's like telling all your friends you saw a unicorn in the wild. You think anyone's going to believe you? I certainly wouldn't. Why not 4 octillion, 10 octillion? What's the difference once you get past real numbers? The highest actual real numbers that exist is trillions. Quadrillions if you're feeling frisky. Anything beyond that is simply smoke and mirrors. I've seen a lot of true crime cases, read a lot of court documents, and I have never, ever, ever seen the audacity of the absurdity of such a specifically ridiculously big number of 5.37 octillion. Not real, ladies and gentlemen. It's just not. That's called overcompensation. And when you're overcompensating, red flag. And when I see a red flag, boom. I don't like being lied to. And 5.37 octillion feels like a lie, in my opinion. They say there's something like 7 or 8 billion people on planet Earth. So if there's only 7 or 8 billion, what in the world is an octillion? That sounds like fake news to me, ladies and gentlemen. keep in mind, this is all just somebody else's fantasy that I'm
Right, like I'm saying, it's confetti. It's a big ass fucking number to make you go, whoa. But when you look, it's the distraction, it's the confetti. Hey, I'm going to throw this big fucking number out to you. So that's what you're focused on, just like the 51 terabytes. It's a big ass fucking number for you to focus on. So then when you look at what is the 51 terabytes, or how did you get to that octillion fucking profile, then you start to go, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, they're big numbers, but it's shady shit that got to the big numbers. Big numbers to distract you from the shady shit it took to get to the big numbers.
talking about here. It's not mine. Anyways, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I don't want to be fooled again and again and again in this case. I was fooled initially. Initially, I made a series of videos based on the official story. I believed them. I assumed they got the right guy. They said the DNA matched. They said they found evidence. They said he had the same car. They said it was him. And I believed it. I made videos saying Bryan Kohberger was guilty. I took some time away from the case. I did some analyzing. I did research. I did some investigative detective work. And a lot of you out there emailed me and were in communication with me with information. I read all of it. And I came to the conclusion the so-called evidence is super weak. Super, super, super weak. The so-called evidence is basically not even real, in my opinion. Remember, this is all alleged speculation, and none of us know what we're talking about. All of the words coming out of my mouth is just somebody else's fantasy. Yeah. Boom. 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 There's a lot of booms here in Crime Circus. Some booms are in the mind state of the viewer, but I'll never knowingly steer you wrong here. Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana, they need us. They need us now more than ever. And we are going to get to the bottom of this case. We being me and you, the viewer. Together, we are the Crime Circus cult. And for those of you that didn't know, that's actually my second YouTube channel. We're almost to 100,000 subscribers, but we're not there yet. If you watching this right now will go down and click the link, you can help us get to 100,000 subscribers. That'll be a boom. We're going to do a big celebration, and it's going to be awesome. Anyways, there's been a lot of confusion about cell phone data. Apparently, Bryan Kohberger's phone was off. What does that mean? Well, it means he didn't have a reason to have his cell phone on. Maybe it was dead. It's that simple. It doesn't mean he turned his cell phone off to pass people away. You can't tell me he's a super high IQ genius that doesn't really leave much evidence behind of any kind. No shoe prints, no fingerprints, just a smidget of DNA, but nothing else. What about the knife with the dripping BLOOD on it? Whoever did this no longer had the sheath to put the knife in. Dylan Mortensen did not report seeing a knife that we know of. So you can't just be super high IQ and pull this crime off in about 6.5 minutes and then go turn your phone randomly on an hour and a half after the crime. If he really is this much of a lunatic madman, then yeah, I suppose he certainly does deserve the firing squad. We just haven't seen any evidence, and we must learn from history's mistakes. Remember the Salem witch trials? That happened way back in the day, hundreds of years ago in Salem, Massachusetts. A whole bunch of wrongfully convicted witches, who weren't even really convicted of anything, people just said that they were witches, were burned at the stake. And now that little historic town has turned into a real tourist trap. There's gift shops, live music, haunted houses. You can go spend your money there. So they have a very dark cloud above them in that town.
No.
Evidence is important. Authentic evidence. If you know anything about the news that's been popping up on this case, you can see the prosecution apparently is hiding stuff from the defense. There's no track record of the genealogy testing on how they got to their results. Imagine if you're doing math homework or a math quiz and you just give the results, but not how you got the result. Your teacher is going to give you a big fat F because you look like a cheater. And cheaters aren't good. Cheaters are bad. All types of cheaters are bad, bad, bad. Anyways, riddle me this, riddle me that. Some of us just need to get a clue. And what I mean by that, you got to read between the lines. Because when you get a clue, that clue can be very important. If you want to be an online detective, you have to be a really good online detective if you want to solve this case. You got to think a little outside the box, and you can't believe everything you read or you're told. There is a lot of false information about this case. Anyways, when you see Bryan Kohberger walk into the courtroom, you can see he's confident. Some of you have tried to nitpick his micro mannerisms, that he's clenching his jaw, or you can see his temple pulsating. Folks, he's in a courtroom surrounded by bad energy, with cameras all over the place. He's potentially facing a firing squad. He's potentially being falsely accused of quad passing away, the craziest big news story in modern history. Yeah, you might clench your jaw too. That is not a signal of guilt. His temple pulsating, yes. He has a heartbeat. He's not a vampire. Although it is said that he was up for all hours of the night. So what? I am too. So, to wrap this up, what have we learned? Bryan Kohberger is the tall man. Bryan Kohberger is presumed innocent. Bryan Kohberger appears to have the confidence of an innocent man. Bryan Kohberger's attorney seems to have really good courtroom energy with her client. If that wasn't a court setting and I saw them on a park bench sitting that way next to each other, I would honestly think they were a happy couple, enjoying each other's company. Just a little date night of sorts. And in closing, the grand jury. What do they have to hide? Why so many secrets in this case? To me, that raises super red flags. And when I see red flags, it makes me raise bushy eyebrows to this case. It really does. I've been investigating different individuals, and I've seen a lot of people with bushy eyebrows, and the consensus says Bryan Kohberger does not have bushy eyebrows. That's just not really even deniable. This guy does, Bryan doesn't. Boom. If it was really so obvious that Bryan was guilty, a 5 octillion to 1 chance that it was. If it was his car on the cameras, it would all be so obvious, and he would not embarrass himself or his family that he loves very much by making this a media circus spectacle. He would just plead guilty like Chris Watts did and fade away into obscurity. It would just be that simple. And in detail, people move on with their lives usually. It's on to the next true crime case. The more I look into this case, the more I want him to be guilty, but the more I think he's probably not guilty. There's just no evidence. There's been a lot of fantasizing going on where people wish that the so-called tidbits of info that has been released fit Bryan Kohberger. But the truth is, the timeline has changed since day one. The information has changed since day one. They keep changing things. During the initial press conference, we were led to believe there were 2 roommates on the bottom floor, Dylan and Bethany. 6 weeks later, they suddenly tell us Dylan was actually living on the 2nd floor. That's a change. That's a red flag. They initially told us the crime happened around 3 a.m. After Kohberger was arrested, they suddenly say it was just after 4 a.m. That's a change. That's the red flag. That makes me raise a bushy eyebrow.
It was the change when they first came out and said it was unalive, self-unalive, and the community didn't have to worry. And then they flipped the script and said, okay, hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like it's been red flagged from the fucking point they were given the initial presser.
Ain't that the
Right from
truth?
then. Because that's when I was like, what the fuck? Who the hell self-unalives them that way?
Well, even if you look from the get-go, they
Yeah.
should have said the community, lock your doors at least, something. I mean, come
Right,
on.
yeah.
If you don't have somebody behind bars, you better be warning people.
Yeah, it never made sense. It never made sense.
Well, it was that way in Delphi too. Because the initial reports in Delphi when the girls were, found, the other parents were saying, hey, I'm afraid to let my kid outside. And, Ellie was right at the beginning saying, oh, no, it's okay. Everybody's safe. I'm like, unless you got somebody locked up, I'm going to say BS on that.
Mm. And how they even locked him up, it's going to be interesting to see what they got. Because, like he said, they're obviously trying to, like, we even got into it last night because that's one of the things that we were doing that read through with the document about the other case from Canyon County with Judge Whitney. That's in the documentation for the Koberger case. And it was also talking about how they didn't have certain documentation because certain documentation was not available because it was from a higher agency that, they could try, but, they didn't know if they could or not, if they'd be able to get the information. So it's like, I don't know. It was weird as we were reading through the whole document, and I'll be making a highlight. I wish I would have made one last night, but as we're reading through the whole document and it's so eerie and how it's just so similar, or you could definitely see all of this shit playing out in this case right here, with how it's all, even, like, we're not going to use this for the trial. So it's, in our opinion, it's not part of the discoverable, evidence, because we didn't really use it for, it was such a long, it was like maybe an hour and a half or something. But you definitely have to read the document. And I'll share the link again here in a little bit. If you want the link, just scroll up to me and you'll see where I type something with the yellow square, and it'll be, I threw the documents out there. But I'll put them out here in a little bit. I'm going to finish on this one. We're going to start. I'm going to look to see if there's any breaking news going on. And then after that, we're going to get into this truth and transparency body cam for a little bit. And then somewhere around that area, then we're going to be getting a call from the architect at 1 o'clock Eastern today. So I'm definitely excited for that. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So let me finish this up. We'll see if there's any breaking news, and we will get to those body cams. Thank you all for hanging out. Got my K-Cup ready, too. Come on, StreamYard, work with me.
Told us it was a 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Elantra. Suddenly, Brian Koberger was driving a 2015 Hyundai Elantra, and the information changed. If law enforcement has to keep changing the so-called evidence to fit their man, maybe their man isn't actually their man, unless this is just way higher up than them. And that's all I'm going to say on that because, well, anyways, moving on. We were even told a very specific certain time that Kaylee and Maddie arrived home. Kaylee's sister came out and said, that's not true. They actually arrived home at this time. Moscow PD also told us Maddie and Kaylee were dropped off by an Uber. Uber made a statement saying no Uber driver was involved. Moscow PD made the correction and said, oh, it wasn't Uber, it was just a private driver. Okay, red flag, boom. None of us even knew that there was a DoorDash driver until the arrest affidavit came out. We had all just only speculated because of the Jack-in-the-Box bag that was on the counter. Well, we don't even know if that was actually ordered, but that is pretty much the only restaurant that was even open at 4 a.m. Brian Koberger is probably not the DoorDash slasher, as I told you. Anyways, the odds of that man showing up at the exact time of this crime happening, it raises a red flag. Why didn't they tell us about this before? Red flag, boom. Other things have changed along the way as well. The sororities, the fraternities, Greek life. They won't say anything. They have a code of silence. It means they don't really go to the police. It means they don't call the police. So it really does make you wonder. If the Banfield is surrounded by sororities and fraternities, who called 911 to report underage drinkers? That's highly sus. I think whoever called that in may actually be the KILLER. Boom. Yes, I know, there's been an extreme amount of
I'm gonna play that again real quick, just so everybody can hear that one more time.
crash driver until the arrest affidavit came out. We had all actually arrived home at this time. Moscow PD also told us Maddie and Kaylee were dropped off by an Uber. Uber made a statement saying no Uber driver was involved. Moscow PD made the correction and said, oh, it wasn't Uber, it was just a private driver. Okay, red flag, boom. None of us even knew that there was a DoorDash driver until the arrest affidavit came out. We had all just only speculated because of the Jack-in-the-Box bag that was on the counter. Well, we don't even know if that was actually ordered, but that is pretty much the only restaurant that was even open at 4 a.m. Brian Koberger is probably not the DoorDash slasher, as I told you. Anyways, the odds of that man showing up at the exact time of this crime happening, it raises a red flag.
Right?
Why didn't they tell us about this before? Red flag, boom. Other things have changed along the way as well. The sororities, the fraternities, Greek life. They won't say anything. They have a code of silence. It means they don't really go to the police. It means they don't call the police. So it really does make you wonder. If the Banfield is surrounded by sororities and fraternities, who called 911 to report underage drinkers? That's highly sus. I think whoever called that in may actually be the KILLER. Boom. Yes, I know. There's been an extreme amount of booms in this video. And I wish these videos didn't even have to exist, because I wish Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana were all with us and this crime never happened. Is BK guilty or not? We don't know. But we do know we've been lied to by the officials. We do know the official narrative does not add up. We do know that there's been a lot of false information in this case. There's even been fake evidence presented. And if you believe in the number 5 octillion, I'm going to say a little prayer for you, and Baby Drip's going to pray for you too. Anyways, if you enjoyed these shows, please consider joining my Patreon. I need all the support I can get here at Crime Circus. Make sure you're subscribed to my second YouTube channel, The Crime Circus Cult. It's more awesomeness. I'm going to make it...
It's buggy. Oh my gosh. Sorry if that was skipping a little bit there. Man. But yeah, it's so many freaking red flags this whole time, you know? And the it was always suspicious about the driver. That's why I always felt that there was some kind of involvement somehow. Look out, something.
Yeah, whose name was on the bag again? Was it Xana?
So this is... What's that?
Whose name was on that bag? Was it Xana's name?
Yeah. But that's... Yeah, on that picture through the window. Yeah, it had Xana's name on it.
What if that meant she was the target?
I don't know. That it was if you look at the other items like the coffee cup and things like that, it kind of looks like it had been sitting there for longer, maybe.
Oh,
but I don't know. It's, you know what I mean. Who knows, really? It's just kind of something that pictures snap through the windows, because really there was not curtains, really, even on the screen doors. There was nothing covering them. It was, I don't know. Anybody could just walk up to the door and look inside. It'd be kind of creepy in a way.
Yeah.
You know. This is some breaking news that just came out. Some escaped convict.
Now to the urgent manhunt for a convicted killer who is on the run after escaping from a prison in Pennsylvania. Authorities are calling him extremely dangerous and are asking for the public's help in tracking him down. Ariel Resha has the latest. Good morning, Ariel.
Good morning to you, Eva. Authorities are not saying how he escaped, but hundreds of local state law enforcement and U.S. Marshals are on the hunt for that convicted murderer who they say was set to serve a life sentence and has little to lose. This morning, the urgent search for this killer who escaped from a Pennsylvania prison.
He is considered extremely dangerous.
Canine units deployed on the ground, drones and helicopters scouring the area from the air. Authorities say convicted murderer Danilo Cavalcante broke out of the Chester County prison around 8:50 a.m. on Thursday. Last seen walking on a nearby road roughly an hour later, wearing a white t-shirt, gray shorts, and white sneakers. Local schools immediately put on lockdown. Cavalcante was in the early days of serving life in prison for fatally stabbing his ex-girlfriend 38 times 2 years ago in front of their children.
Already engaged in a murder in broad daylight in front of children.
Whoa.
There's no stopping him for doing anything more egregious.
Officials say the 34-year-old was sentenced just last week and was awaiting transfer to a state correctional institution.
He physically escaped. There was no cutting of any fences.
Concerns mounting with the violent criminal on the loose.
His depravity knows no bounds. I mean, this is someone who has nothing to lose. I don't know what he's capable of doing.
And there is now a combined $10,000 reward for information that leads to his arrest. Officials are concerned about his potential actions given his violent history, and they're warning the public to keep their distance. If you see him, do not approach him. Call 911 immediately. DeMarco.
Ariel, thank you very much.
Whoa. Okay.
Isn't Pennsylvania, isn't that Coach Kev's area? I'm
What is
thinking
it
he's
with all
from around
freaking people
Pittsburgh?
escaping out of fucking Pennsylvania and Ohio? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on over there with their jail system?
Yeah, probably
Fucking
not
the-
enough people to work. That would be my
Ohio and
guess.
Pennsylvania. What the hell, people? Fuck. And then they just follow the river. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Asking a question. What's a good comment? When did this happen? Just now. 20 minutes ago. This came out. So this is right now.
Wow.
Breaking news. Yeah, right now. 1 second.
Wow.
Get that. Yeah. It just says, what county was it? Here's another one. Hold on 1 second. 6 ABC Philadelphia.
Breaking right now at 4 o'clock. The search is on for a convicted murderer who escaped from a Chester County prison. Hundreds of officers are working.
So this was 19 hours ago. Okay, so this was yesterday.
Right now to find 34-year-old Danilo Cavalcante. He was last seen
Trying
this
to pause
morning
it.
on Wawasset Road in Pocopson.
Trying
Sarah,
to
the big
pause it.
story on Action News, Extended County. It was just last week.
Right now to find 34-year-old Danilo Cavalcante.
Whoa. It must have been bugging out again because I was trying to pause it and it wasn't doing nothing.
Wow. Wow.
Sorry. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, hide your wife, hide your kids. Ohio and Pennsylvania are turning out their prisoners, y'all.
Chester County. Thank you. Oh my god.
Crazy, crazy.
Chester
If they hit the
County
river, they're going to be
Philly
down here.
area.
They're going to be south. Jeez.
Going to get what? What the hell's going on with Cherry? What?
I don't know.
I don't know. Is she mad about something? I don't know. What?
I don't know. Let me back it up.
I don't know. All right, let me play this video.
I think she's gonna just go get something to eat.
Breaking right now at 4 o'clock, the search is on for a convicted murderer who escaped from a Chester County prison. Hundreds of officers are working right now to find 34-year-old Danilo Cavalcante. He was last seen this morning on Wawasset Road in Pocopson Township, putting communities in that area on high alert. It is Thursday afternoon. I'm Brian Taft.
And I'm Charlotte Williamson for
Oh.
Sarah. The big
Okay.
story on Action News is the extensive search happening right now in Chester County. It was just last week that Cavalcante was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of his former girlfriend. Now authorities are doing everything they can to get him back behind bars.
Action News reporter John Paul live in Pocopson Township now. And John, we understand things have gotten rather active behind you in the last few minutes.
Correct. Yeah, Brian Shari. So just in the last maybe 5 minutes, I saw 3 heavily armed law enforcement members. I mean, I'm talking full combat gear walking over this hill. They went down that way. We also see a drone. There have been 2 helicopters that have come over. To give you an idea where I am, I'm about a quarter mile from the prison where this escape happened this morning. In fact, I'm on Wawasset Road. That was the last place that he was seen walking down this very road at around 9:40 this morning. We've seen some state troopers going over that hill. We really can't see much over that hill. We've just seen a lot of law enforcement head over that way.
All that wide open area,
Now,
too.
look-
Look at that.
Jeez.
Let me back up. I mean, and in the
This morning,
woods.
we've seen some state troopers going over
The
that
woods, too.
here, walking over this hill. They went down that way. We also see a drone. There have been 2 helicopters that have come over. To give you an idea where I am, I'm about a quarter mile from the prison where this escape happened this morning. In fact, I'm on Wawasset Road. That was the last place that he was seen walking down this very road at around 9:40 this morning. We've seen some state troopers going over that hill. We really can't see much over that hill. We've just seen a lot of law enforcement head.
Okay, so you're telling me that not only they escaped, but they fucking before it gets to them trees, that's a lot of fucking wide open area. I'm sorry, somebody running or walking,
Yeah.
dressed in that clothing, you're gonna notice like that's a lot. How in the hell were they able?
I don't know.
All this open area.
I know our
Into the
prisons in
fucking tree.
Alabama. Yeah, that's a long. I don't know how it works. Okay, in Pennsylvania, I assume it's the same as our prisons here in Alabama. But I mean, yeah, you have wide open spaces right around the prison, like a lot before you start seeing trees. And we have a guard tower. And I mean, they're armed, and you know, if somebody suspicious is walking out, especially if they can see him, and which he wasn't wearing orange, and I don't know how they do it there. Maybe it is gray, but yeah, our people are trained to take them down if they're walking away from the prison. So
Gray sticks out, definitely.
how did that? I mean, how did that happen?
Gray, really? Like, you're gonna go at least give us some bars or something, or like some kind of logo. I mean, gray. It just, but I don't know. I guess it's times are tough, but
Well,
prisons
you know,
are big business, so I don't get it.
here we have the colors, like we have the bright orange, but I believe in prisons they have gone to, and this has been some years back. You remember Monopoly, how the guy was in the black and white stripes? That's our prison. A lot of our prisons have those, because you see them on the side of the road. They look like prisoners. You won't mistake that for anything.
Yeah, it's I don't know. You've seen some of the clothing now. It's pretty cheap. I just don't understand it because prisons are big business.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many of them. And so why in the hell are why isn't there something that stands out? I'm sorry, that's a lot of open area for somebody to just be not only getting out of the fucking prison, but then being able to get through this part too, because this is where I think your ass would be getting caught, right here. If you did escape, I think this is where your ass would be getting caught. So the fact that you even made it past there, it's like who wasn't doing their shit? Because obviously it was a collective thing, because there's different, levels of how this person got. I mean, they just got past all these different barriers. Come on now, something.
I don't know. They're on their phones in
That's
a
just
guard
crazy shit.
shack. They're watching TikTok or something.
Yeah. Man,
They're doing something besides watching the prison, that's for sure.
yeah. They're probably watching because Fact or Fiction Beyond Belief, I brought it up, a couple nights ago, and maybe they got sucked into those episodes, because that is a good show. We're going to be kicking back at the lounge in the future. It's one of those shows, I think, because you got to come. Have you ever hung out at the lounge, Silky?
No, I wanted to the other night. I
Go
can't
back and
remember what
watch that?
happened. Yeah.
No, Tales from the Crypt. We're gonna
Yeah.
start watching the first episodes with Robert Stack, the Unsolved Mysteries. Just different movies, things like that we can all hang back and just hang out at the lounge and go kick it. And it's just about like comedy, just watching whatever, stuff that's not true crime, but that may be somehow slightly connected to it. But the Fact or Fiction Beyond Belief TV show, if anybody remembers that, that's another one we'll be watching at the lounge. So we'll have to hang out at the lounge sometime, Silky, and we'll just kick back
Yeah.
and watch videos and shit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I had wanted to come the other night. I can't remember what happened. It's like, life.
Yeah, you
Uh,
definitely have to. Yeah. Especially Tales from the Crypt. Oh,
Yeah.
that's my favorite show from when I was a kid. Tales from the Crypt. Oh man, just just hearing the laugh, going down the stairs in the intro, and then it leads you right at the bottom, and then he just pops right out and starts giggling, and you're just like, ah,
I love the Crypt Keeper. Love him.
Yes, yes.
The older I get, the more I resemble him in the morning. I'm like, what the crap? What is looking back at me?
That Pennywise shit was crazy. It is. It's fun to hang out. We just kick it and hang out. It's a way to, it's the lounge. It's not the main stage. It's the lounge of CJ's Club. So we got the talk show and then the lounge where everybody can kick it back there. But yeah, this is a lot of space. And this is an action cam. But that's a lot of space. And drones. Drones would be neat. I know Jinx has
That was the
has
last
a drone
place.
for that Delphi stuff. I think it'd be pretty cool to get a drone and like get footage and stuff that way too.
Yeah. Why
Go to
don't
different-
they? Why don't they have drones? That's crazy.
No, they did. They have drones looking for this guy now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Where's the dogs?
Yeah.
Where's the dogs? Unless the trees are just too much for the senses, but you would think there would be some kind of lead. I mean, Pocopson Township. It's got to be out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
where's he
and what
hiding?
prisons
Probably-
usually are.
Probably in them woods somewhere. It ain't. When it gets to like day 3, 4, 5, if they haven't caught him yet, then you'll probably be seeing him coming out, because then he'll be getting really hungry, really thirsty, and at a point where he has no choice but to come out. So the
Good
lounge is
thing.
like the green room. Yeah, we gotta hang out at the lounge some night.
Yeah,
That he
absolutely.
was seen
Yeah.
walking down this very road at around 9:40 this morning. We've seen some state troopers going over that hill. We really can't see much over that hill. We've just seen a lot of law enforcement head over that way. Now, they're looking for a man they describe as a ruthless killer. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole for stabbing his girlfriend 38 times in front of his children. That happened in 2001. He was waiting to be transferred to a state
Wow.
facility after being convicted just last week. That's when he escaped. The
White
DA said
t-shirt
this
and
man
gray
has nothing
pants.
to lose. It's Danilo Cavalcante.
That right there, that looks like somebody walking down the fucking street. Who's even gonna who's even gonna like think that that's somebody that escaped from a freaking prison?
Yeah.
Seriously, a white t-shirt and gray sweaties.
You got to do better, Pennsylvania.
He
That's
escaped from the
crazy.
Chester County Prison
Wow.
around 9 o'clock this morning. The 34-year-old is 5 feet
Look at the wide open area and then the woods. Come on.
tall, 120 pounds, shaggy black curly hair, brown eyes. When he escaped, he was wearing that T-shirt, gray shorts, and white sneakers. And as I mentioned, there was a confirmed sighting on the
That would look just like anybody else walking down the damn street.
Yep.
Like, that's so crazy.
road that I'm standing on around 9:40 this morning. We're only about a quarter mile from the prison. Now, the warden
Wow.
would not go into any details about how this man escaped, but they are extremely concerned about what he might be capable of. So they've got hundreds of law enforcement out. They've got drones. They've got dogs out, multiple helicopters searching this area of Chester County right now. The district attorney held a news conference with state police just a short time ago. Here's some of what they said.
His depravity knows no bounds. I mean, this is someone who has nothing to lose, as you indicated. So
Why aren't they saying how he escaped? What's the secret? What's the
Well, no.
secret?
I would be interested in
What-
that too.
What would be the what do you think would be the reason why they wouldn't want to disclose how he escaped? Because it would look bad on them. Sorry,
Oh, yeah.
guys, he escaped out the laundry chute. Our bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Or I don't know if I imagine they have trustees or something like that, but I'm sure they do because they're the ones that work the kitchen. They do the work around the jail. So, I don't know, unless it is involving an officer. You know, we had that case here about a year and a half ago of Casey and Vicky White that, you know, went on the lam. So
Yeah.
if it was officer assisted, they definitely don't want to discuss it.
And they didn't need street clothes, Salsa Sam. That's the prison garb. They didn't need street clothes. White t-shirt.
I don't know
Sure,
what he's
gray
capable
sweaties.
of doing. If he's already engaged in a murder in broad daylight in front of her two children, there's no stopping him for doing anything more egregious.
Once we noticed we had
No,
an
we'll be
issue
going
with
into the
inmate not
body
being
cam in a
there,
minute.
we immediately followed our protocols, locked down the prison, did what we call a special count to confirm there was only one person missing. We further went out. We did lockdowns to the schools, the cops and home, put out reverse 911s to the immediate area, and just waited for assistance to come.
It's a scary thing, but like I said, I don't think he's going to have.
Oh, come on.
Now, that was a neighbor,
This
and
is
that
so
is a
fucky.
big concern because we know that Cavalcante has family in Phoenixville. He also has the victim's family in Phoenixville as well. We know that Phoenixville Public Schools, they went ahead and put the kids on restricted movement today because they were so concerned that this man may be trying to get to the Phoenixville area. The search, though, for this killer continues. Now we're seeing some officers who are just in that field coming out this way that is heading toward the prison itself. Looks like a state trooper there. 3 more coming out this way. So doesn't look like they found anything, at least over in this area. But listen, we're keeping an eye on everything. We've been in contact with law enforcement sources. If we get any information, we will bring that to you. But they're saying this is a very serious situation. They're asking people to stay inside because they don't know exactly what this man is capable of. Again, more officers going by right now. Now we are live in
I would say so.
You think?
That's scary too.
Yeah,
This is crazy.
I wouldn't want to live near a prison.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't even have a choice because they're just popping them up left and right.
Yeah.
Right, what are they
No,
thinking?
that's for sure.
You think he
Yeah.
just walked out? You think he was just able to walk out? Like,
Yeah. I'm checking out for
Brought
a
up-
few days.
brought up Fact or Fiction TV show, and all of a sudden this shit happens.
Yeah. Wow.
No, we'll be going into that body cam now. and then I'll take a pause when the architect calls.
Hey, CJ, I am
Yeah.
going to bounce for a little bit. I'm going to be
Okay.
watching. I want to I want to see the body cam, but I have got
Yes.
laundry. And then I want to get some stuff together. Yeah, I've got a lot of laundry. And I've got to, that's bad. But also, yeah, I want to get some stuff together for later for my dumb criminals. So, yeah, just send me a message on Discord or email or something and let me know what time today you're available to hop
Okay.
on over. We can do it short. I know you've got a lot of stuff today, so we don't have to keep it that long. We'll just
No, it's
go
fine.
with the
It's
flow.
Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. And then whenever we're done, I was thinking about maybe doing a hangout, just depending on what time it is or whatever. But no,
Yeah.
it really depends on the Koberger court hearing stuff. 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 Pacific. So depending on when we're done with that is really going to determine. So I'm just reach out to me maybe around 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central, somewhere around there. And I'll have a better idea of how long the court hearing is and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for hanging out. I appreciate you.
Oh, no problem. I loved it. And like I said, I'm going to be listening. So I'm going to just go ahead and go. But y'all, I'm really interested in this body cam. I really am.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be
it's
Thank
just,
you
I
for-
need, I gotta work this weekend. So I need underwear.
Yeah.
It's really important. So
Hey,
I have
you
to
got to
go.
do the. You gotta have clean drawers. You gotta have clean drawers.
Yeah, the draws.
Yeah, the drawers. And thank you for giving us a little catch up on the Tanner Barton case. And anytime that you both are available, you name the night or afternoon or whatever, depending on what day, and it doesn't matter. I want to make sure that both of you can be on, and I'd love to have her on as well, and I'd love to do whatever kind of attention I can put towards that, because if
Yeah.
it's messed up shit like that, it's not cool. That's not serving
No.
justice. So
Yeah, and her schedule is about to open up a lot. So mine stays the same. But yeah, we'll get together. We'll talk about it in Discord, and we'll make a plan. She's very anxious to, tell her story anywhere she can. So
yeah, let's do it. Can't wait.
all right. Well,
you so
the panties are calling, and I will see you later today.
Clean drawer.
CJ.
Later.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye
Appreciate
bye.
it. Bye. Yeah, we'll be hanging out on Silky's show tonight, and I'll be putting a community post out as well. So definitely go give her a follow, or a sub. Man, I'm at the Twitter and all this other shit. Follow, sub. I wish it was all just the same. All right, so let me switch to Truth and Transparency here. 1 second. Sorry about all the buggy. And then we'll be getting the call from the architect coming up here 1 p.m. Eastern, so in about a half an hour. We'll be taking a call from the architect. We'll be talking to him for a little bit, and then we'll be getting more into this body cam again too. So I want to say thank you all for hanging out, and breaking news. Be safe out there, PA, and all the surrounding states. All right, so we're going to get into this video here. Is it the one from 6 days ago, correct, everybody? The one from 6 days ago? Let's see. And here's the link to this video as well.
Hello and welcome to the Transparency. We will be discussing these body cams tomorrow. These body cams are from 8/20/2023.
So is this the video you guys are talking about? I just want to make sure. See you later, Salsa. Appreciate you. Uh-oh. Yeah, thank you very much, Silky. Appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out. Oh, she does. She's Silky and I, we each she had started her channel and I had started my channel, and then I came across one of her videos, and I was like, hey, I like your theories and your thoughts. If you'd like to join sometime, I do a talk show on YouTube. If you'd like to join sometime, I'd love to have you on, and we can chit chat about it. And she came over and checked out the show, and she took it down. What? Oh no. So wait until today was no bueno, huh? What's up, Danny? Wait until today? I've been laughing all week. What do you mean? Play a few minutes of it. I guess this isn't the one. What?
Yes, sir. 1118 King Street. Right? Yes. Yeah. Well, that one might. Okay. I think that's 1112, but yeah. You should assume when we got here. Yes, sir. From here up to there.
What's up,
literally
Ashley?
show the people. I just want to say the people that like are in my house that I'm with have been in my place. So yeah. Yeah, we've gotten this all the people out here wasn't really. Yeah, but the security guard who's over on that house said there's been people going out and pissing all over the back of the house and all over the rocks and stuff like that. Okay. That's got to stop. Yes, sir. Yes, so, I understand that. Yeah. Any other questions? No, I don't. I do not, but I am 21. That's not what we're worried about right now. Just saying. I do not. I don't have my wall. Or I'm looking through the window here. Yeah. It smells. The whole street smells like bar. Yeah. I think this is all the same party that went from probably from the Whites who just made it up here tonight. Well, I saw the guys from over here from 323 last night. I was like, I've seen you everywhere, man. He's like, yeah, we came here with some friends. There's like 10 guys in here. That's it. He's like, all that stuff outside, we're not associated with that. Let's have a good night. Let's try to keep it cool. Yep. Thanks. Thanks, guys. This have been in my place, so yeah. Yeah, we've gotten all the people out here wasn't really. Yeah, but the security guard who's over on that house said there's been people going out and pissing all over the back of the house and all over the rocks and stuff like that. Okay. That's got to stop. Yes, sir. Yes, so, I understand that. Yeah. Any other questions? No, I don't. I don't try again. You just like.
going on, guys? Doing well. How you doing? Good ID on you? I do not, no. All right, how old are you? I'm 21. Are you? I just turned, yeah. Okay. You sure? Yes, sir. If I run your name to dispatch, they're going to have you as 21, not some other age? Yes, sir. All right. Where do you live? I actually live down the road here. Okay. All right, cool. You're not one of the people who live here? Yes, sir. No, I'm not. All right. Yeah. So, okay, what's the best way? Because I know they're doing stuff here and people might be kind of in the street. What's the best way for us to make sure that we don't get out of trouble for that? Keep your people inside. Don't be on the street. Don't have any people out here pretty much. I mean, technically, everybody who has an alcoholic beverage in streets and open container, it's a misdemeanor. Yeah. Right? So, yeah. Oh, sorry. Can I get my wallet? Yeah. Dude, I'm seeing you everywhere, bro. Me? Yeah. Talking to me? Did I talk to you last night too? We did. Yeah.
So we don't live here.
You're gonna leave, like, honestly.
We're like party, man.
Yeah. No, like literally, like,